The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Listen here. This is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict. I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we live in. Somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you could never speak for black folks. Fake ass pandemic, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye, Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye. We don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk. Bitch, you ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, they get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me.
I'm talking about Shannon going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it means nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the 7-millimeter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Make them happy because man make them dark. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money to buy from other men? This is a man's world.
Good looking out, cuz. I didn't even know I was muted. Oh my god. What's the last thing that you remember hearing? I was going over the tangibles. So I just read this out, so I guess y'all could read along with me, but I already read it. But I guess I can read it again since I was muted. I didn't even realize I was muted. So the 2028 presidential elections are coming up, and foundational Black Americans are going to reject the 50-year-old malign neglect policy that's been implemented by the political system. This malign neglect policy mandates that Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned in vague and non-specific terms, lumping foundational Black Americans into groups with minorities, immigrants, people of color, BIPOC, downtrodden, distressed, underserved, underprivileged, etc., has only hindered the progress of Black Americans as a group while providing tangible benefits for other groups. In this election cycle, meaning the next election cycle for president, the 2026 for the midterms, the 2025 for some of the local elections, the 2027 for Denver specifically, Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are specifically met by politicians who are seeking our vote. Foundational Black Americans want tangible benefits specifically for us. We do not want trickle down, secondary benefits that are provided for every group. Every group has not been systematically marginalized and disenfranchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped in with groups who often assist in the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians must offer tangibles. Simply the foundational Black Americans or simply will not vote for them. Be sure to spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag Tangibles2020. And since it's 2025, it's Tangibles 2025. And like I said, next year in 2026, it's Tangibles 2026. And 2027 is Tangibles 2027. And 2028 is Tangibles 2028. All the way up to 2100. Continue to demand something tangible for your vote. So you say, cuz, Brother Che, what you mean? What you mean by that? What you mean by tangibles? What is that? Tangibles are something real. It's some substance. It's something you can count, measure, feel with your own hand, i.e. reparations, i.e. cut the goddamn check. Um, it started off at 100 trillion, now it's up to a gazillion. Cut the goddamn check for past, present, and future atrocities that have been brought against our people and continue to be brought against our people in 2025. We are owed a debt. This is not a handout. This is a debt that's owed. And it's been compounding interest for the past 3, 4, 500 years. So cut the goddamn check. Otherwise, we're not going to vote for you at all. And the Democrats can lose another election cycle. We don't give a damn. Because we said since day one, we don't care if both parties collapse. Because neither one of them parties mean us our black selves any good. So, yeah, that's right, cuz. Facts. So, also, that entails an anti-black hate crime bill passed into law, similar to the one that you gave to Asians back in 2021, 2022, when you had that Stop Asian Hate nonsense, even though black people, foundational Black Americans, are still the number one victims of hate crimes in this country. Also, tax-free exemption, and there's another thing, something about qualified immunity, ending qualified immunity in all 50 states, just to begin with. So those are the tangibles, and if they're not offering nothing lineage specific, well, they're not getting our vote, period. So that's the tangibles. We're going to demand something tangible all the way up to 2100. So like I said, both parties can collapse. The Democrats can continue to crash and burn. The Republicans, the MAGA, they can crash and burn as well. So if they're not going to do nothing specifically for us, they're not getting our goddamn vote. And that even goes for the independent party, like the Green Party, or even my party, the Unity Party. If you're not offering nothing specifically for foundational Black Americans, you're not getting our vote, period. So moving along, the Democrats, what are they doing since their massive defeat at the presidential level? They are trying to usher in new leadership, or what they consider new leadership. So part of that is this cracker named David Hogg. He's like one of them white liberals, one of them Antifa types. They're trying to introduce him and propping him up as a new leader. Because they know AOC ain't gonna cut it, and none of that squad shit is gonna cut it either. So now they've been reduced to this. So Professor Black Truth is gonna give us an update on that. Once I find the damn cue that I was looking at. I missed one.
This is
Here it is. Okay. What are these Democrats up to? Professor gonna give us an update.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth.
With Republicans holding the majority in Washington, many are wondering how the Democrats will rebound in the midterms and beyond. For more on that, we're going to bring in David Hogg. He's the vice president of the Democratic National Committee and an activist for many years now. David, welcome to Scripps News.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, what is the purpose of this new initiative that you have within your group? It's called Leaders We Deserve. And how are you funding this?
So this is funded from grassroots donors around the country. The work that I do with Leaders We Deserve has been done long before I was a vice chair at the DNC. And the work that we're doing is twofold. One, we're looking to elect the most effective Democrats possible. Part of that looks like challenging Democrats that are failing to meet the moment right now. Our party has a 27% approval rating, and specifically challenging Democrats that are in safer Democratic seats that in no way, shape, or form risk us losing a majority in Congress by any means whatsoever. Our party is in a moment of crisis. Our country is in a moment of crisis right now, and we have to show people how we are actively working, not to push out older people by any means, but push out ineffective people and bring in the most effective leaders that are ready to meet this moment. And that's part of what Leaders We Deserve is here to do, along with supporting younger people that are running in our frontline districts around the country that can help make sure that we win a majority for the Democratic Party.
Some of the older members of the Democratic caucus right now who have been in leadership in the past are people like Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, Steny Hoyer of Maryland. Are those people that you would want to see primaried?
No. And the reason why I say that is because we need people that are there to meet this moment. And I believe that especially people like Congresswoman Pelosi, they've spent the past decade fighting back against Donald Trump and leading that charge. She also oversaw things like the passage of the first gun law in 30 years, some of the largest climate spending in American history and human history of any country in the world. And what we need in Congress isn't just, 435 25-year-olds by any means. That's not what I'm advocating for. What we need is a diverse coalition of all people who are eligible to serve. And we need people there like Clyburn, like Pelosi, like Steny, that are ready to mentor that next generation. Because frankly, what concerns me is when there are a lot of our members that end up unfortunately passing away in office, with them goes that institutional knowledge. We need older mentors there to show our young people how to work through the system, and younger people there with new ideas that may not always agree, frankly, but ultimately are working towards the same goal of getting Democrats elected and making sure that we're improving lives of the American people. So those are not people that I would say that we need to challenge here. What we need to be doing is elect people specifically like Senator Van Hollen. We're meeting this moment, not just saying, well, we don't have power, we can't do anything, but putting action behind his words, going to El Salvador to meet with the man that was abducted by Donald Trump and his administration.
Here we have yet another example of how the Democrats can perhaps theoretically be counted on to do the right thing, but only after they've tried absolutely everything else, at least a few times. I'm sure you've all seen David Hogg, one of the survivors of the Parkland School massacre. And if you wonder what he's up to these days, well, young Mr. Hogg is now the vice chair of the DNC. I guess this was some Democrats' attempt at reaching out to the youth vote, or perhaps throwing a bone to the more vocal members of the white leftist base of the party who have been complaining that they're not being heard. Hogg was asked if his group was trying to replace the old Democratic Party leaders. He said no, only the ineffective ones, and only in districts that wouldn't threaten the Democrats' ability to get Congress back. So in other words, we're talking about cosmetic changes at most. Nancy Pelosi, Jim Clyburn were mentioned by name. These fossils are a huge part of the problem. There's two issues that I have with David Hogg in this case. One, if the Democrats have made him a vice chair in any capacity, that means that they've already looked at this guy, they've vetted him and decided that he's no threat to them. He's not going to change the status quo. It also means they're most likely grooming him for higher office, and this is his apprenticeship phase. It looks a lot different than it did when Barack Obama was cherry-picked by Tom Daschle back in the day. So to me, while I would love to think that he's playing the spy kid who sat by the door, the reality is it's far easier for the establishment to co-opt and compromise him than it is for him to sneakily change the system from within. Secondly, when I look at what Hogg and his organization are called, it smells like yet another straight-up DNC sock puppet group claiming to be bringing in new leaders, when in reality, they're just the same old, same old. When Joe Biden got elected to the Senate, he wasn't even 30 years old yet. And he was supposed to be the new blood of the Democratic Party back in the late 60s. But when you listen to what Biden said and what he's done ever since the 50-plus years he's been in office, he was no different than his predecessors. When Bill Clinton took office back in the 90s, there was all of this phony white media praise of him being young. That's because he was the first baby boomer to become president. At that point, the white media was saying the country's finally moving on from the World War II generation being in charge, et cetera, et cetera. And then they did the same thing with Barack Obama, dynamic, young leadership. AOC, touted as new blood. But I told you about her from the very jump. When she was running for office, she went out of her way to not mention Black people at all, even though Black people supported her campaign. And once she became a member of Congress, she still doesn't talk about Black people, except to say that she's definitely not Black.
That doesn't mean I'm Black.
We've seen this song and dance enough times to know it's all empty, phony hype. As the Black media for over a decade, at least since the early days of BLM, right after the murders of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, we've seen the white media on a near monthly basis trotting out some individual or other, like DeRay McKesson, or some organization, usually funded by DNC front groups, who claim that they're the new Black leaders. People who we don't know, never heard of, people who do not stand for what we stand for, and refuse to actually demand any changes. The problem isn't that the geriatric fossils leading the DNC haven't heard the voices of young voters like David Hogg. The problem is they're deliberately not listening. They have nothing but contempt for those young voters, and for several years now have pushed all kinds of lies, trying to blame them for all of the Democratic Party's failings and mistakes. What do you think Negro Jim Clyburn was doing when he was whining about defund the police in 2020? They were lying about that during an election cycle that the Democrats overwhelmingly won. And now that the Democrats have lost power, they're lying even louder. Democrats know that it's their selling out that's the reason that they're in the fix they're in today, but they're determined to die on this hill. Look, even if you want to see David Hogg in a sympathetic light, that's understandable, but you still can't ignore the fact that the Democratic Party is a political whorehouse now. If Franklin Roosevelt were to come on the political scene today talking about a new deal and Social Security and reshuffling the economy for the benefit of the working class, you would have MSNBC and Morning Joe and CNN and the New York Times all claiming that he's a radical leftist and that he would take down the party, and he's the kind of extremist that the party needs to distance itself from and shut him up, and Democrats need to expel him because he's the kind of unpopular character that voters don't want. That's what they would be saying. In fact, that's what the business class said about FDR 90 years ago. The businessmen were the ones who claimed that FDR was trying to usher in American socialism. Some of those business people, or rather their mouthpieces, claimed that he was a communist stooge. That's where the so-called businessman's plot came from, where the biggest corporations in the U.S. tried to get General Smedley Butler to overthrow President Roosevelt. Back then, the corporations tried to stage a coup from the outside. Today, they control both major parties to the extent they don't even have to remove the next Franklin Roosevelt. Their puppets like Pelosi, Schumer, Clyburn, and Hakeem Jeffries would make sure that another FDR never makes it into high office in the first place. Organized money has thoroughly taken over the Democratic Party, just like it has the Republicans. And even if I were to be as charitable to David Hogg as possible, it's being extremely difficult to expect that he can actually demolish that rotten house while he's still inside of it. If people like David Hogg want to actually make change, they have to deal with the fact that the Democrats lost power because they refused to deal with the money issue. Black people are the tip of the spear on that particular topic. It will take moral courage and intellectual honesty to regain the faith of the party base. With David Hogg, all I see are Democrats trying to find yet another social issue, in his case, gun control, that they can present to the voters in the hopes of getting them to be distracted from the fact that Democrats are hell-bound and determined not to make changes that their billionaire donors don't want. Democrats were the ones who helped the tech bros become the monsters they are today, and the same for the housing crisis. When people were in the streets of San Francisco and Los Angeles literally chanting the rent is too damn high, it was those so-called liberal California politicians like Gavin Newsom who ignored them. When the housing market crashed in 2008, Democrats did nothing while equity firms like Blackstone, BlackRock, and Vanguard swooped in and bought up entire neighborhoods, then declared that all of those houses are now only going to be for rent. These equity firms created the artificial housing shortage that we see today, all in their efforts to make sure they maximize profits for themselves. In truth, there's plenty of houses to be bought, but these equity firms were allowed to take them off the market, and not one Democrat has said boo about it. Not one Democrat has vowed to present legislation to make equity firms buying houses illegal. Even Bernie Sanders doesn't dare do it. And a big part of that is that the housing market is the last bubble that they can keep inflated. It's the last big ticket item that people are still willing to pay money for. It's absolutely required in order to keep the U.S.'s economic bubble from bursting. At least that's how the political prostitutes in D.C. see it. If housing values are allowed to return to proper levels, which means that national real estate must lose a minimum of 50% of its value and return to reasonable norms, then that means these big equity firms would lose an enormous amount of their own net value. Abortion was the big political distraction the Democrats tried to use last time. This time, it's gun control. Next time, it will be something else. Democrats are only thinking about the next election cycle, not the next 20 years. They're acting just like the corporations that they've whored themselves out to. Forget about the next decade or even the next year. Just focus on the next quarter. Even if what you're doing today will crash the company next week, don't worry, the government will bail us out. I don't believe for a nanosecond that what Hogg's doing is going to matter or impact the election. You talk to Gen Zers his age, and they're all talking about the cost of living crisis, which is actually the cost of housing crisis. They're not talking about gun control. What he's doing right now, talking about primarying certain select members of Congress, just so long as it doesn't have any impact on the Democrats' ability to get back in power. If that's what he's talking about, then he's on the road to making himself irrelevant. Whatever this is, it will never bring about real and meaningful change. At best, it can only be a momentary uptick on what has been a downward trajectory for the Democratic Party. Democrats didn't lose office to the Orange Man because they didn't get gun control legislation passed. They lost because their base has finally stopped lying to themselves. They've watched as for 40 years, Democrats sat on their hands while Republicans dismantled the reforms that political activists had fought to put in place for 100 years. Everything from labor rights to civil rights. And in many cases, Democrats actually voted for these regressive Republican policies, like Biden did when he voted for the 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act, and when he wrote the 1994 crime bill, or as he called it, Biden's Law. And of course, you can't leave out how Bill Clinton sold out to the corporations in the 1990s. Obama bailed out Wall Street instead of Main Street when the 2008 crash happened, and then he sided with the thugs in blue over the citizens during the uprisings. The base has seen this for decades. So the game of saying you can't pressure the Democrats to actually do anything, you just have to vote for them blindly, because if you don't, why, the Republicans will be even worse. That game has run its course. A critical mass of people are tired of the political treadmill. Democrats have had complete control of government too many times for them to claim that they couldn't do anything. If David Hogg actually represented a genuine change, I sincerely doubt that he would be featured on television so much for this. So no, I don't think for a moment this is new leaders any more than it was when Biden, Clinton, and Obama ran. At best, he's being used by people who he's naive enough to think that he can find a way to work around. And at worst, he's already begun the process of learning DC's favorite dance, the old Potomac two-step. I can understand why the young Mr. Hogg is so focused on gun control, but the reality is the entire reason why there's been no change on this issue has been racial, not merely the usual bureaucratic intransigence. If David Hogg really wants to make progress on this issue, he'll have no choice but to tell the dominant society some things about themselves that they don't want to hear. And unless he's willing to do that, the only thing the left base of the Democratic Party will be is left out. Good day and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: David Williams, Frederica Moore, Elaine Zanga, Deborah Cooper, and Naji95. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
Yeah. I agree with everything that Professor said. I believe it. Yeah. Professor Black Truth was right on point. Democrats are done. And if this is their chance of revival, they done fucked it up already. So I don't see them winning in 2026. I damn sure don't see them winning in 2028 or even 2030 or 2032. So everybody keep on losing Democrats until you actually address the issues of your base, meaning the foundation of Black Americans. You're gonna keep losing elections, and we don't give a damn. So moving along, how do we keep these goddamn OTBs out of our goddamn FBA business? Professor Uncle Phil's gonna give us an update on that. Why them folks are always in our business?
As FBAs, definitely here in America, and probably even I could say maybe South Africa as well, because they have a whole lot more folks there. Maybe Namibia. There's different places where these folks are at, where we're kind of centralized. These folks have an issue about always being in our business. Definitely, we can relate to that more so here in the good old United States of America. You have one, sister that's asking just some questions to the folks, and I really want to expound on what she's saying here. So let's go check that out.
Never got me started, but I got a question for the streets. White people, why can't y'all stay out of our business? You hate us, you don't like us. Oh, we make everything about right. Why can't you stay out of our business? In the grocery store, at the mall, at the move, why can't you just stay out of our business? We could be talking to the person, we could be doing our own transactions. Here you go. Why the hell are y'all so nosy when it comes to Black people? Or are y'all just like this in general? Like, is minding your business not a sport that y'all practice? Growing the hell up. Y'all got the answers for everything except for minding y'all got business. And then it got to the point where you could be talking to the Black community like, this is FUBU, by us, for us, and here y'all go. We don't want to hear from y'all. It's not about you. It's more to life than you. I know you're seeing that now because you become the minority. Why can't you mind?
So let's get into what this sister's saying. I know many of you have felt the same way. You say, why in the hell they always in our business? Why they won't leave us alone? Don't they got something else better to do? No, they really don't. They really don't have nothing else better to do than mess with you, okay? Because what I've learned about life, when people have something going on and something better to do and something more important, they don't mess with you because they're so preoccupied and busy with their life. They're not even thinking about you, okay? Now, what I will say, when she was saying that, do y'all miss other people? No, they really don't. They really don't. The one thing other groups have to kind of keep them out of their business, even though they'll try to get involved with it, but one thing they have to keep them out is their languages, right? So whether it's the Hispanics, whether it's Asians, the different, whether it's Arabs, whoever, when they're speaking their language, they get bothered by it because they don't like other languages being spoken around them that they don't understand because they're so freaking nosy. I mean, they can go learn the language if they want, but they don't like that. But they're more inept to our business. Let me tell you why. We always talk about that we are, we have descendants of slaves, but they are descendants of slave masters. And slave masters always monitored the slaves. Slave masters always told the slaves what to do, when to get up, when to go to bed, when to eat, what not to eat, what they can do, how they can dress. They did all that. And they are, just as we are descendants of slaves, they descendants of slave masters. You understand? And those who say, well, you know what? My family wasn't any kind of slave master. Well, let me tell you about that. The system that was created is still the same system like the slave master. So any of those who imported here from Europe, they got along and got into this system and treated Black people the exact same way, right? Because when you still had the different white groups that came here, they wasn't allowed into whiteness, like the Irish and the Italians and all these different ones. And then when they grafted them into whiteness, they made sure to, hey, I'm gonna go ahead on and treat black people the exact same way so I can keep my honorary, white card, right? That's just really the way it is. Now, you have to accept that's what they're gonna do. Now, you as a black woman or black women who could be watching, the one that's gonna be in your business a lot more is the Becky and Karen. But let me go tell you the differences with Becky and Karen. Becky, a lot of times, want to be you. She's very, very jealous of you. She's trying to mimic you, right? She wants to be, a lot of them want to be with your men. And some of them at the same time can't stand you, right? At the Becky stage, they know their privilege. They know all of that. They may have some slight contempt for you here and there because they can't be you, right? But they don't really have that outward expression of racism as like the Karen stage. You understand what I'm saying? At the Karen stage, they didn't hit the wall already. They can't be you if they wanted to be. They upset that they're 50 and look 65. You're 50 and you're looking like you're 35. That's one thing they get very upset with you about as black women. Their men a lot of times, trade them in, and so they're angry about that. They left them for a younger woman. Either a lot of times it's a younger white woman. It's not a black woman. And so when they get to the Karen stage, they're way more racist towards black people in general. That's why you see the Karens calling the police and the Karens doing this and the Karens doing that, right? When it comes to us as black men, the white men, they're worried about us too, right? They're worried about, black men messing with the women. About the envy they have with black men. Like the white woman said, I'll never forget that in that video, that they more worried about the black man's D than the women are, right? When black men become successful, they get very, very threatened. When black men, walk with confidence, that bravado, that swag, that's very intoxicating to a lot of people. Can't stand that. That's why you had all the mess with Shadura Sanders. I'm going to do a whole stream on Shadura Sanders tomorrow evening on AD&C. They can't stand that, so they're watching us for that. So they're always monitoring, both of them, the men and the women. Much as they monitor, much as they stalk, much as they harass, if this was a relationship, if this was a girlfriend that was doing this, or a former boyfriend that was doing this, the courts would grant you in particular, a restraining order against them for what they're doing. People have gotten restraining orders for less. And these people will not leave black people alone. And let me tell you where you really trigger them. Go fly internationally. Even going to Africa sometime, they want to ask you what you do. Don't get in business class, first class. Even if you do first class domestically, the first question they want to figure out is this: what do you do? Because in their mind, you do something, because you don't belong up here in business class. You don't belong in first class with us. So either it's getting cheap, where we need to raise the prices, or you some sort of rapper, you some sort of girlfriend of a rapper if you're a black woman, you some sort of athlete, you're something, right? Because how did you get up here with us? If they see you staying at certain hotels like the Ritz-Carlton, you taking certain trips or whatever, they looking at you all like trying to figure you out. That's what they're going to, and they're coming to you nice about it. They're not going to come to you mean. They'll say, "Oh, so what you do for a living?" They nosy. My thing is, you don't tell them what you do for a living. It's not their business. Why do I have to report to you what I do with my income? Right. Now, when they ask you that question, this is how you answer it. What you do for a living? You know what? I was just about to ask you that same question. What do you do for a living? Because I was so curious what you did for a living. And let them answer it. Right? Let them answer it. Anytime they ask you a question, flip it right back on them every time. Okay, let's say if they answer it. or whatever they do for a living. So what do? You give them the most vague answer you can give them. So vague. Yeah, I work in internet sales and stuff like that. Really? What are you selling? Well, just various products online. This would be so vague. It was like Amazon or something like that. Like whatever they come up with. Like yeah, that's what I do. Yep, Amazon. Whatever they say. Like just mess with them. Oh, you really want to mess with them? Like, oh no, I actually work at McDonald's. You really want to mess with them? McDonald's? Are you the owner? No, actually, I'm a line cook. I flip burgers at McDonald's. You really want to mess with them? Like you got time, right? If you really want to give them the energy and really mess with their mind, tell them something like that. Or tell them, yeah, I'm a stalker at Walmart. Just mess with their mind. You don't gotta tell them no truth. You know what I'm saying? Now they can look at you a certain way and say, I don't believe all that. But hey, it ain't about you believing it. Stay out of a black person's business. Because we sure not asking you what you do for a living. It's not our business at all. Another way they try to get into your business, they'll try to maybe even volunteer to tell you what they do for a living. So you can find out what you do for a living. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think black people should be volunteering any information about what we do, any kind of personal information. Because look, they can make a call and try to sabotage you, bro. So don't ever tell them what you do. You know, when people ask me if I want to tell them, I say, yeah, I own a media company. That's what I tell them. I own a media company. Really? You say, yeah, I own a media company. I don't get into the details of it. I say, oh, really? What y'all produce? Oh, maybe documentaries, travel things. We do things. I just come up with very, very simple things that we do, but I don't get into the nitty gritty about, well, what's the name and what you talk about? It ain't your business. So you ain't gonna really want to know what I talk about, especially me. Do you really want to know what I'm talking about? Now, I probably need to give you to one of the other journalists, and maybe you'll like them. But don't come to me because I am breaking down, anti-black racism to the molecule, and most of them can't stand it. They get so defensive about it. There's no reason to get defensive if you're not that way, right? But they're always gonna be in your business. That's why they had that little thing about, when you're black and never really lonely because there's always a white person in your business. That's why that came out. Because even when you are minding your freaking business, and I say I've seen this more with the women more than anything else. Like with me, I maybe I move a little different. I don't have them getting in my personal business other than when I'm in certain locations and they want to ask questions. But and it's more so because of that when I'm in certain locations, when I'm, different places, or they get curious. Like, well, shoot, how did he get in here? Who y'all know him? That's what that is. But I wouldn't trip on it, brothers and sisters. I wouldn't trip on it. Just don't volunteer no information. Understand, unfortunately, it's a stalker that we just cannot get rid of. You understand what I'm saying? And give them the same energy you give anybody else. They're trying to get in your business. If you're just not in a good mood, they say, ma'am, why are you in my business? Like, I'm not here on this plane to talk to you about my personal business. I'm here to get to and from. What? Well, why you gotta be rude? I think it's rude asking somebody what they do for a living and they didn't volunteer that information. Like, how were you raised? You don't ask somebody what they do for a living and how much, basically trying to figure out how much money they're making. You pocket watching. No, don't pocket watch me. Don't do that. I'm not in the mood to be pocket watched. You're not the IRS or nobody like that to be asking me about my money. So if you're not the IRS or anybody that I should be reporting my money to, then just leave me alone. It's just bottom line. But y'all gotta let them folks know, stay out your business. Because when you tell them, they get shocked. But you wouldn't be shocked if you just go ahead and mind your personal business.
Right. Yeah, my mom said the same thing. Verbatim. Like, you're not the IRS, you're not no damn bill collector. I don't have to tell you shit. So that's how you keep them OTBs out your business, FBA family. Now, he was talking about getting a restraining order on them. That's not a bad idea. So we're gonna go into that. Like, what does that entail? Can we file a restraining order on these folks for stalking us so much on our corporate jobs?
When you work a corporate job, once again, they're watching every bit of the way with you, whether you're a brother, whether you're a sister, they're watching. I want you to hear what this sister is dealing with, but let's talk about it because we got to have some tips when you're on the job.
As a Black woman in corporate America, you're never really alone, baby. Whether you're at home, whether you're in their presence, they're watching. They're going to find your social media. They're going to stalk you. They're going to send it amongst each other, talk about it. When you're in their presence, if you're not saying much, they're going to be like, what's going on? Nothing. I'm quite literally just minding my business. It's actually kind of scary how obsessed people can be with the Black girl or Black woman in an organization or Black man in an organization. It's scary because you know what I don't care about? Their lives outside of work. I don't care enough to go look for it. But them? Yeah. They gonna watch. They gonna look.
Sister's 2,000% correct because when I worked in the petrochemical industry, they be looking at everything. But when I worked in petrochemical, when they got in my business, I let them know exactly what I did for a living, saying, fire me if you want to. Go ahead and fire me. Please fire me. I'm ready for it. Because one thing they didn't like about me so much is that I didn't need nothing from them because I had my own money coming in. And that is a beautiful position to be in when you work in a job where you choose to, not that you have to, right? And they know that, hey, you're not the average Black person. So when I mean by average, you have more avenues to fight them. You have more avenues to sue. You have more avenues to put a spotlight on them. That is a privilege. I will say that a lot of Black people, you know, they actually have with the social media, but someone like myself who actually have the platform, you know, I can get on and just really highlight somebody like that, and I can really turn a lot of eyes their way, right? I haven't really had to do it because people haven't really put me in a position where I had to do it. But you better believe if I need to, it's gonna happen. Now, when you're working the job with these people, if you are a person who's an introvert, like you just don't like to talk much, right? You just don't. It's not that you're mean to nobody. You don't talk to a whole lot of people. You may chit chat with a few, but you don't talk. You're worse because if you don't talk to them and keep to yourself, you're doing your job. Then they come up with accusations of that. Why aren't you talking? You don't like white people? Yeah. There goes actually his report to supervisor that, you know, you seems like you don't like white people. He seems kind of racist because he just don't talk to nobody. Now, you don't even talk to Black people. You don't talk to nobody. You do your job. You show up on time. Right. If it's about work, you talk about work. I mean, you do anything you're supposed to do. You do everything you're asked to do, right? And then these supervisors, we've heard these stories from people, brothers and sisters, that say they brought you in the office asking you, saying there are people saying that they don't really think you like white people too much, or they don't really feel like you're a team player because you don't like to talk much. Well, you know, in your job description, it says what your job description is. They tell you what you're supposed to do on your job, every bit of this, okay? They tell you, they didn't say you have to talk to everybody. They say, no, you have to work with people and get the job done, but it doesn't say you have to talk with everybody. You're not there for friends. You're there to get a check. Right. Okay. So that's one issue you got to deal with. If you talk too much, then that can get you messed up because they'll try to get you to say certain things and get you fired too. So you got to walk a fine line with some of that. Me personally, I talk when I had to. I didn't sit up here and chit chat with them. Now, when it comes to your social media on these jobs, especially the higher you go up the pay scale, right, and the tax bracket with these jobs, make sure all of your social media is put to private. Your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever you got, that's all. So anything considered social media, make sure it's all private. You take a risk, making public videos. So I guess if you have a TikTok, you want to talk about things, make sure it's behind a private deal. When it comes to YouTube, unless you're talking about just, hey, you travel. But then let's say if you're talking about your travel. Let's say you're not talking about nothing controversial. Just, hey, I went to Bali for a week and I filmed it. And, hey, I do travel content. I work at this job, but I also do travel content at the same time. They will get jealous of that and say, well, how much they paying you here? Because I saw your video on YouTube. You went to Bali. That was a nice hotel. And I saw you flew on a good airline and you was eating so good. You still look so relaxed. I mean, like, man, I need a raise because I can't afford that. They'll start saying something like that. Or you buy a new car. They don't know how you got the car. They don't know if somebody gifted you the car. They don't know if that car was on sale and it was such a good deal. They don't know nothing about the car. You pull up with the car and they were like, oh, LaSherica, that's a nice car. Like, boy, it's amazing. You know, it's such a nice car. How much you paid for that? They don't know how much you paid for it. Well, how much you paying per month? Like, are you going to give me some money on the note? Why are you asking?
Right.
Well, that car is normally, $52,000, and you can afford that. Let me tell you some true story. What happened at the job? So a partner of mine pulled up in a Porsche Panamera at the job. No, not Panamera, Cayenne. He pulled up with a Porsche Cayenne at the job. It was a used one. Had low miles, but he had that. He pulled up. You should have seen all the white folks come outside looking at the brother's car. And you know what the head, like you had the plant manager, then the plant manager's supervisor. He came out and he said, "You got that car? Well, shoot, how much are we paying you?" He said that. He actually said, "How much are we paying you?" Like, what kind of crap is that? You don't know how that brother got down with his money?
Right.
You don't know nothing. But for to come out and say, how much are we paying you, is straight jealousy. They don't want us to have nothing. All they want to see with us is struggling on Section 8, food stamps, in a crime-ridden area. Our kids are bad off. Us growing up in single mother households. Just struggling. Oh, they want to see us like that. But if you come from a 2-parent household, your parents are successful, you went to a good school, whether it's public school or you went to a great private school. Let's say you went, you put your kids through college, and everything like that. Your kids become successful. They can't stand that. And then once again, that's what goes back to that Shadura Sanders thing. They can't stand that brother didn't come from object poverty, crime-ridden area and saying his daddy was in jail. You know what I'm saying? They would love Shadura if his daddy was in jail. He grew up in a single mother household and he had a white girl on his arm on draft day. Oh, they would have loved it. They would have loved Shadura with that. Shadura didn't have no white woman on his arm on that day. So they can't say, oh, you're gonna funnel all that money back to the white community through that woman, because eventually she's gonna get some children, she's gonna divorce him and take his money. You understand what I'm saying? They can't stand that. They cannot stand us having success. They'll tell you work hard, get it by merit. Then when you do, they're trying to figure out ways to sabotage you out of your job or your career. That's why I tell black folk, get your education if you need it for a particular job. Get on that job and learn. If you can work there 5 years, learn. Then figure out a way, can I take these skills and open up a business on my own? And while you're working there, you start opening that business on your own. You're going to start off small, but you're going to have to literally work 2 jobs. You're going to work your job and then the business. You don't tell nobody you got a business. You don't tell nobody nothing. You're just doing your thing. Once that job outside of that, right, your business, start making 2 to 3 times more than what you were making at that job, then you can, at that point, you can say, okay, I'm gonna choose to leave. But hey, it may be a good situation that you don't have to leave. So I say work the job as long as you can until until you get to a point where now you're losing money by working this job over here. But they can't stand successful Black people. So they always gonna be in our business. And what I've learned, us having our own businesses cut down a lot of that problem. I'm telling you, I don't deal with those problems anymore. I don't deal with any of it. When I walked away from petrochemical at the end of 2022, it's been so free. It's been so free. So if you want to get away from them with all that, create your own business, and that's will cut down your interactions by 90%.
All right, Uncle Phil. Appreciate the advice. All right, this is not the next topic. Yeah, he's right about that. He's definitely right about everything he's saying, especially with them corporate jobs. So moving along, these damn tethers. We got to get on the damn tethers. Goddamn tethers. I was arguing with some fool named Pan Unity. He's another Tariq hater on YouTube. You know, started a YouTube page just to talk crap about FBA. These people are trifling. All right, so FBA disdain why some immigrants dislike FBAs.
Not today, not yesterday, not 20 years ago, not 100 years ago. Never gotten along. We don't get along. All I'm saying is that stay in your lane and I stay in my own lane. I don't have any interest or desire to have that kind of relationship that I know will never be. There is no need for me to pretend to like you. You don't like me, and I with my full chest. I don't like you either. So this one that we're supposed to come together, don't ask me to come and join you to march down the street for whatever politics you're marching. I'm not coming to march anywhere with you. So you know, so all I'm saying is that, you know, why are we here asking each other to get along? That, you know, we think African sisters were better than, yeah, I think I'm better than African American. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not any African American friend. I don't need to be friends with any African American. There's nothing friendship with them that I find interesting through in university. I don't have any ounce of interest in developing any type of relationship with any of my African American sisters. Some really traumatic I don't have any interest. Zero. If I see you coming down the road, like this, I turn around and go the other way. I don't have any interest whatsoever to have a relationship with you. I hate them. I hate them. End of story. There's no resolution. I hate them. Period. Saying I beat my full chest to say I take ownership of how I feel. You don't have to expose me. I will tell you how I feel. You don't have to second guess me and say, oh, these people are this thing, that thing, and I'm going to expose them. You are not exposing anything. Me, I will tell you how I feel.
Okay. All right. And she said that with her full chest, ladies and gentlemen. Do you now see why FBAs have not saying nothing about what Trump is doing with immigration? Have you seen that? See, we don't need that over here, okay? You can take that back to where she came from in Nigeria. She can go back over there. But see, what I don't understand with people like her, okay, why are you here? Why are you here? Why aren't you in your homeland? Or why didn't you go to Europe somewhere where FBAs is nowhere to be found? You could have went to Europe. I mean, it's easier for you to get to Europe than it is over here. You actually have to fly across the Atlantic Ocean to get over here, right? But you have this disdain, and this is what baffles me. Everybody throughout the world got this negativity about FBAs. We didn't colonize nobody. We didn't enslave nobody. We're not stealing nobody's resources today, right? Today, in 2025, we're not stealing nobody's resources. We're not passing all kind of diseases to their men and women in these different countries. We're not doing experiments on nobody. But the people that's doing all that, what I just said, they love their dirty draws.
Yeah.
Who are the people I'm talking about? Them folks. They love them, ladies and gentlemen. They love them. They love them to death. They love them people. Disdain for us, though, but you love them. And part of, and I said this before too, this has nothing to do with immigrants, but it's more so that love deal. Part of the reason why I kind of stopped doing certain stories myself out of South Africa, I'm gonna tell you why. I never forget that conversation I did an interview with that young lady, Queena Makulekwa. She all hardcore against the Zimbabweans, but she was happy that the white woman won Miss South Africa. But was so turned up on the Nigerian woman and the Chidima. They didn't want her, but they wanted the white woman. And then when that woman told me in the interview they're a part of us, I say, see, right there, that's when we say you're not like us at all. We have never said them people's a part of us.
Right.
Hell no. They are not a part of us.
Right.
What are you talking about? What do we look like as FBAs saying our former slave master is part of us? What kind of crap is that?
Right.
What kind of that's why they fight Julius Malema so much over there. Julius Malema's problem in South Africa, I'm going on a tangent about South Africa for a minute. His biggest problem is not really the white people. The white people in South Africa don't like him, of course, but it's not enough of them to really stop him. His biggest issue is a lot of those Negroes in South Africa fighting against Julius Malema, the guy that actually can save their nation. They don't want him. A lot of them don't, because they're scared they're not gonna be in good graces with Mase. But now let's continue with this lady here. So you over here with this anti-FBA sentiment. You'd have never even been allowed to step foot in this nation if it wouldn't been for the fight of FBAs.
That's right, Uncle Phil.
You know, I really believe, of course, these people are not going to do it, but if I had to be a president, I would make sure every immigrant that come in this country at the embassy had to watch a video about how America really was and how they even got the opportunity to step foot in this country, and show them everything about the civil rights movement, show them everything that happened. And when you come to America, you need to appreciate the opportunity you have to come, because if it wouldn't been for the FBAs, we would have never let you step foot in this land. Because the only people that they wanted in this land was Europeans.
Yep, that was it.
They didn't want no Indians. They didn't want no Hispanics. They didn't want no Africans. They didn't want no Caribbeans. They didn't want no Arabs. They didn't want nobody in this country except white folks from Europe. That's all they wanted. Now, let's get started with her one more time, and I'm gonna start going through, some points about what leads to some of the disdain about FBAs. But let me cue something back up.
African Americans we have never gotten along. Not today, not yesterday, not 20 years ago, not 100 years. We've never gotten along. We don't get along. All I'm saying is that stay in your lane and I stay in my own lane.
You remember the movie with Wesley Snipes? Remember? And he said, "Look, was it Sugar Hill? Look, Romello. I can't do it. I can't do it. You do your team, I do my team. But we cannot work with the kata." That's that same attitude. That's all I heard was that movie when she said that you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. No, that sounds like we cannot work with the kata. Once again, why did you come to the land of the Akatas? Why did you come here? You have your whole homeland of Nigeria. That many Nigerians are there right now, dealing with whatever they're dealing with in Nigeria, but at least they are there. They're there. You fled Nigeria, ma'am. You fled. And then you on the internet that probably you couldn't afford in Nigeria anyway, You on the internet here in America talking bad about FBAs? Don't you got some money to send back to your people back home?
Right.
Why are you on the internet worrying about FBAs? You know, listen, let me tell all y'all people, it don't matter where you're from the white supremacists to whoever, it don't matter. Y'all are just failures in life. And I'm gonna tell you why you're failures. You're so obsessed with a group of people. Okay, Anarchy says, I'm half Caribbean and I have no disdain. Love your live streams. Anarchy, please read the title. Let's read the title together, ladies and gentlemen. The title of the stream says, Why Some? It didn't say why all. The key word is some. Some means there are a portion that feel that way, but not all feel that way. While some African and Caribbean immigrants have a disdain for FBAs, okay? That's why we made sure to put the word some in there, right? Because it would be ignorance to say all, because it's not true, because once again, as I stated in the beginning of the stream, I have plenty of Caribbean and African immigrants that love our programming. They have come up to me in the streets. Nigerians in particular have came up to me in Houston and many other places. And they love our show and they love what we do. So once again, it's some. So let's deal with the some. You come to the land of the FBAs. You took an opportunity from an FBA. That's kind of what I'm gonna say that. You took an opportunity from an FBA to get a hospital job, to get a nursing job. You took a spot from an FBA to get into a college.
Yeah.
You took a spot. All the spots that you're getting and all the scholarships you're getting, that's a spot you took from FBAs.
Yeah.
And this is the killing part about it. If a bunch of FBAs went to any African country and started taking their spots and start getting on the internet, disrespecting them, they would all rise up against you and get you out of there or hurt you, one or two. That's what I do know about them. They won't tolerate that kind of disrespect. They will not do it. And I'm not saying they should tolerate disrespect. But you come into this country and run off at the mouth about FBAs. Now let's continue with this lady.
Have any interest or desire to have that kind of relationship that I know will never be. There is no need for me to pretend to like you. You don't like me, and I with my full chest. I don't like you either. So this one that we're supposed to come together, you're asking me to come.
You know, as you know, FBAs, you know, definitely here in America, and you know, probably even I could say maybe South Africa as well, because they have a whole lot more folks there, maybe Namibia. There's different places where these folks are at, where we're kind of centralized. These folks have an issue about always being in our business. One thing that...
So that's how these tethers feel about us, FBA family. So the feeling is mutual. We don't like you tethers either. Shout out to the riders of the diaspora, but yeah, we don't got no love for you tethers either. It's all smoke over here for the tethers. Because you mean it's no good. And that scan Africanism is dead. We're not on that shit no more. Get with her, get broke, fuck over. We don't care at this point. It's the reparations generation. It's not the kumbaya, can we all just get along generation. No. This is you owe us a debt. We come to goddamn collect generation. So moving along. That's what they said. Oh, FBA is delineated to fight for ourselves. Now an African brother wants to unite for reparations. Ain't that some tether shit? Now, we've been literally beating the drum for reparations for at least 6 years now. Like, heavy, constantly, on a daily basis, right? Now these other groups want to get their reparations throughout the diaspora all of a sudden. But we just say sue your colonizer. So they got that memo, and now they suing their colonizer. But now they want to come together with global reparations. No, you got your claim against your colonizer. We got our claim against our colonizer. So stay in your lane on that. We're not gonna try to destroy what you got going, CARICOM or AFRICOM or whatever goddamn com. That don't include FBA. So there's that. So now they all want to get on reparations. Talking about it's our fight, and it's like, no, that's our fight. This FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, Citizens of America's House, slavery freedmen, the people that built this country. So Uncle Phil, once again, is going to give us an update on that.
Be for the economy in 2026. So it is the 24th, and we are trucking along. Tonight, we're going to look at a video from a African brother that wants to unify about the fight of reparations. We're going to have this discussion, and I think it's going to be a productive discussion. Make sure you also check out the Phil Scott podcast. Down, subscribe to that channel. Tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll have podcast tonight talking a little bit more about Shannon Sharpe. We know that's a lot of developments been coming out with that. So make sure you check that out tonight, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen. Our platform here, let people know we are a daily platform. Every day we have something going on over here. From either early in the morning all the way to maybe the evening. We have a lot of content going on. The reason why we do that is because, we want to be the place that not only can keep up with the mainstream media as much as possible, and I don't even have the budget to keep up with them, but for the shoestring budget that we have, I think we're doing a very, very good job, in the process. Even though I know a lot of content come at y'all, various, it constantly come. But, when you look at the mainstream media, they doing the same thing. Content is constantly coming. They're not posting one story a day. They're posting several stories in an hour. I try to give you about at least two every 30 minutes or so. I try. But we have to keep up because this media is warfare, okay? Media is warfare. This is why the white supremacists spend billions of dollars a year on it, because he or she who can speak to the minds and the hearts of the people, that's the people that they can touch. That's the people they can get messages to, right? So we have to compete much as possible in the midst of this, and we got to compete globally. It's not just here in America, because this is a global thing that the white supremacists, when you hear immigrants say, oh, well, I thought FBAs are this way because of movies. Well, movies are considered media. Or what CNN does, that's considered media. So we have to combat on every front. So that's why it's important for us to always put something out, always to have something going, or to have our own app, no different like how CNN and Al Jazeera and all of them have their own apps, right? So just letting y'all know that. Just listen. You say you thought I was upset. I wasn't upset. It's been times I've got on here and I've been very upset, but I have to throw aside my feelings when I start this. I guess that's called professionalism. There's been times I've received phone calls that's just really floored me, right? 5 minutes before I start a stream. Somebody do something that just really aggravate me. And there's been times, y'all, I didn't even want to get on here. There's been times that I was just really down about something, and I did not want to get on here, but y'all wouldn't know it at the time because, hey, that's being a professional, right? But no, I'm not upset about anything. I'm in a great mood. I actually went to Target today and got some jeans and was happy that it was $14 off. Hey, all y'all who's supposedly boycotting Target, man, y'all do what y'all do. I'm enjoying the price and I'm getting out of there. I told you I'm not boycotting no Target. Target ain't done nothing to me. What, they got rid of DEI? So what? DEI didn't benefit black folk. You know, I mean, y'all do what you want to do with your money. I can't control you. If you dropping price in Target, I'm cool with you. I'm loving it that a lot of y'all not in my way when I go in Target. So please, I'm gonna go to Target and enjoy it. Save my money. Why in the world would I be sitting up here spending money like that in the mall? Now, of course, certain things I go in the mall for, like in the area of my dress codes, because you know I won't get that from Target. But hey, some jeans, t-shirts, whatever. It's gonna be Target. All right. Lisa says she's not boycotting either. Yeah, Lisa, they can boycott and it benefit us as going to Target. So please do what you're gonna do. All right. Let me go ahead on and hit this. And you say y'all you were scared there for a minute. I sat there for a minute for a reason. I just wanted to see what the reaction would be. You know, just to see. Sometimes you just stare and be quiet. You'd be surprised what people start thinking. They'll think 1,000 things and you didn't even say a word, right? You know, psychology 101. So let's go ahead on and get into it. Oh, Ghana. Ghana will be coming up November, I think 14 through the 21. So make sure we do put that out. It will, of course, I think $199 down. Don't drag your feet with it. Hurry up and jump on it. And it'll only be for 25 people. When it is dropped, only 25 people. It's not going to be no more than that. No, the last one was up to 30. I think 28 people came, but 25 people on this one. 25 is the cutoff. So if you want to go to Ghana in November with everybody, jump on it ASAP. You know, we have a meet and greet as always. And you never know who else on the team you may meet. Different people may show up. Last time, Juan Gale was there. And a lot of people was happy to meet Juan Gale, you know, and Juan Gale's a superstar. I just fall behind the wayside and you know, let Juan Gale be the superstar that she is. So yeah. But you never know who you may meet at these meet and greets. So that's that. All right. Well, you say, Lisa, you feel better when Phil's on every night. You know what, Lisa, I appreciate that. But Lisa, all y'all do me a favor. Just make sure you support all the journalists that's here, okay? Because they helping not only me, but they helping the platform. Because sometimes Phil got to do other things to grow the platform, right? Sometimes Phil got to go to an event. Sometimes Phil going overseas. Sometimes Phil needs to spend time with his wife, his kids, and the other journalists on the team is doing great things. So just like you support me, please support them. All right, so. Let me go ahead and get to this video real quick, and let's listen to its entirety, and let's go ahead and break this down. This is very, very important. Wrong one. Hold on. Is that the right video? Oh. Is that the right video?
We are not pan-Africanizing the reparations struggle. So you find African Americans are fighting for reparations on their own. Africans in Europe are fighting for reparations on their own. Africans in South America are fighting for reparations on their own, and Africans in the continent are fighting for it on their own. And we are facing the same white supremacy. Why don't we unite as a global African race and fight for reparations from a united front? Therefore, if one of us gets shortchanged, we have each other's backs. If African Americans are getting shortchanged by white people in America, we have their backs. We as Africa, we say, hey, if you guys are not giving African Americans exactly what they want, no gold for you, no cocoa for you, no Coltown for you. That's the brotherly love that I need us to have as a global African race. We are stronger together. We are more, and we will get far together if we fight for reparations from a Pan-African standpoint. We need to be united in this. That's how the reparation struggle can be very powerful, and that's how we will intensify the struggle, and that's how we will get exactly what we are owed.
All right, so I want you to hear that in its entirety, ladies and gentlemen. But we got to talk reality here. And the good thing about, that when I go to the African continent, I can talk about the reality there. I can talk about the reality here. That's also a great thing, right? Let's go ahead and start this over. You know me, I'm gonna stop at certain points, and let's cook a little bit.
We are not Pan-Africanizing the reparation struggle. So you find African Americans are fighting for reparations on their own. Africans in Europe are fighting for reparations on their own. Africans in South America.
Greetings, ladies. You got some background noise.
Reparations on their own, and Africans in the continent are fighting on their own, and we are facing this.
I said welcome. You didn't say anything. Keep going on.
Oh man, it's because just maybe distracted by something. Can I talk for 2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead, Lady Chair.
And so, I was holding it down and over there. Like, where are you coming from?
I'm at the Fusion. It's like my last night here.
Well, I thought you probably would have come over here. I had lost the phone almost all day, so I couldn't figure out what phone. So I turned on the phone, no, nothing, and you just didn't have to you would go live. So I decided to go live. That's the kind of busted shit you did right there. But your shit,
I'll do it beforehand.
Say it, like, no notification, so they go live in 30 minutes, no email, no message. It's kind of fucked up. Anywho, I'm glad I finished that. I just hurried up and jump off because it looks like the 2 shows by that reason. Did you do tangibles?
Yes.
So you guys basically have a Saturday schedule.
Yes.
All right, that's what I want to know. And how far into it are you?
I'm into we just finished up with the Disdain that the Tethers have for FBA, and now we're on the Africans want to unite with us for reparations.
All right. What, like the topics?
Yeah, so I was playing a video of the African brother, talking about how he want to unite with us behind reparations, and basically parroting what we've been saying for years, which is sue your goddamn colonizer.
Yeah. All right. You've been on your phone. I gotta ask you a question outside of topic. But go ahead. I'm in here now. Go ahead. I'm gonna try to stay as long as I can. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Same white supremacy. Why don't we unite as a global African race and fight for reparations from a united front?
All right, brother. Now listen, you that may be your heart. And I believe you coming from a genuine place, right? But here's the problem, brother. Here's the problem. FBAs for decades, brother, decades, long as I can remember, wanted exactly what you're talking about. We wanted a global Pan-Africanism. We wanted to unite with anybody black. We wanted to, as we say, I'm supporting everybody black. That's how what we would definitely want on. We say, hey, you come from the motherland, you my brother, you my sister. You come from the Caribbean, you my brother, you my sister. You come from Latin America, you black, you my brother and sister. You come from Europe, Asia, wherever you at, you black like me, hey, we gonna support each other. But brother, this is the reality in America. I'm letting you know, because it sounds like you on a continent. the reality is there are some of your brethren that have came to America and I understand that the U.S. Embassy has made sure to vet the sellouts and bootlicks of your community. And they come over here, and the first thing they do when they get over here, they delineate it, okay? And they delineate it for decades. They didn't want to unite with FBAs. We wanted to unite with them. We didn't understand why they would delineate, why they want to go stay in their own communities, why some of them thought that they were better than us, even though they fled their homeland, but they thought they were better than us, some of them. I'm not saying all, but a good portion did feel that way, right? And forever, Black people believed in a Pan-Africanism. And it's not that Black people, FBAs, have hatred for Africans or Caribbeans, because that's not true. I mean, we just took 28 people to Ethiopia, and they had a great time. And no Ethiopian over there treated no FBA bad over there. I mean, I went over there to Ethiopia, and, you know, I went to an art gallery, a brother at the art gallery, and they'll give me a beautiful painting, okay, at the art gallery. Right now it's being framed. I should be getting it back next week. Can't wait to hang it in my house. I've been treated a lot better in the African continent than I've ever been treated in the United States of America. So I can't say that I've been treated bad over there. But the simple fact is, my brother, is that when a lot of people came here, the first thing they do is they wanted to say, I'm not like them. And they did that to tell the white supremacists, hey, I'm better. Some of them say, listen, the other day that we had covered, that woman said that she hate FBA. Oh, this woman from Nigeria said she hated FBA. She's in our country, a nurse in our country, right? Having a hatred and vitriol for FBAs. Brother, it gets to a point that...
a little bit, and that's where he would normally be sitting. So I'm going to put that bag off to the side because I'm positive, I'm going to guarantee you're on mute.
Is that Ziggy?
Debbie, yes. Debbie.
Like the old people say, even a dog get tired. Even a dog get tired of being kicked. Okay? You can have a dog that's being faithful and you can kick it. And mention the dog, I'm like, okay, man. And the dog is going to try to run away from you, maybe even bite you. Because he's tired of being kicked. And FBAs have been kicked for a very long time. And the reason why the delineation movement has taken off is because the whole time we're trying to defend everybody, and yet it just never reciprocated. Everybody benefits off of our fight, our energy, our struggle, our protest. Everybody benefit, but when we say, hey man, come over here and let's unify under Pan-Africanism, let's unify and let's come together as one, because more of us together than them. They're like, no. I am not them. You know, stay away from the Akata, stay away from the Jareer, and all these other names that people have, calling us slaves and all kind of other things right here in the land that we fought for rights for, that a lot of them wouldn't even be able to step foot in this country, brother. I have to give you the information from the ground of America. Now, I know when you go to the continent, it's totally a different situation. I get that. I get it. Once again, if I felt that it was immense hatred of FBAs, I would have never told nobody to go over there. I'd have been the one to say, don't you dare go over there. So it's not the case. Now, let's get to something else. Matter of fact, let me play it, and then I want to get to this other part, because you said something else that was very, very important, sir. Let me get to it.
Therefore, if one of us gets shortchanged, we have each other's backs. If African Americans are getting shortchanged by white people in America, we have their backs.
Okay, if we're being shortchanged right now as FBAs by white people. how are you going to have our backs?
Right.
What are you going to do?
Right.
Let me bring something up. You seen all this nastiness that went back and forth about this African Zulu parade that no FBAs really knew about except maybe the 200,000 FBAs that live in New Orleans. And that could have been maybe an educational moment, a teaching moment, whatever the case may be, right? But the nasty names that was being called, and it was a white man that got it stirred up anyway. It wasn't even a black South African that got it stirred up. It was a white man, right? You say that how you gonna have our backs when black people can't just get citizenship? You have to go stay 7 years, 10 years in a lot of places to get a citizenship, and let's call it what it is. And I have to say I kind of get it. I kind of get it because we don't like mass immigration here in America. We really don't. But when FBAs come to the African continent, we don't come to take your jobs. Most of us still kind of have our USD. And if we have a remote job, we don't even need to take a job from you. We just need a place to stay, in a nice place to stay, nice internet. You know, we want to live our American life close as possible. We don't need to take nothing from nobody. Now, I know you got some bad actors that come over there, and I've always said, if you think you're a black person, go over there talking about you're going to help them and save them, you're not there to go over there and save nobody. That's Jesus' responsibility, number one. I'd say number two, like me, I don't go in there and get involved with their politics. I don't get involved with nothing. If I go to the African continent, I'm either relaxing, doing what we got to do for AD&C, and anything related to it, and I'm chill, I'm cool, and that's it. I'm not undermining nobody. I'm not getting involved with nothing. Now, of course, let's say if I'm in South Africa and one of the folks want to pop off for it, it's only popping, because I'm not gonna let none of the folks talk crazy, right? You know, I haven't had that experience, but if they thought one day I was South African and they can talk crazy, they'll find out real quick. You know, usually you talk to them, they're like, oh, I know you was FBA, so that's that. So your government, sir, is not up for helping. They're not up for helping the Caribbeans. They're not up for helping FBAs. They're not up for helping the black folks in Latin America. They're not up for helping the black folks in Europe. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you going to do to actually help? Your government really is the problem. I'm not saying you're not in control of the government, right? But let me continue.
We as Africa, we say, hey, if you guys are not giving African Americans exactly what they want, no gold for you, no cocoa for you, no Coltown for you. That's the brotherly love that I need us to have as a global African race.
Sir, don't tell that to us. See, what I don't like about some of that conversation, you notice that everybody put it on us. Like, hey, FBAs, you know, we need to come together. Hey, FBAs, let's fight together. Hey, it's always put on our lap. No, sir. You need to go to them African governments and say, hey, they treating the FBAs bad over there. Stop giving America gold. Stop letting Europe get gold. And stop letting Elon Musk get coltan from Congo for his Tesla batteries. You know what I'm saying? Your government is the issue. This is who you need to be talking to. Don't talk to us. Like, what can we really do?
The government.
Your government's not even doing you right. Let's start there. They're not doing you right. They've been selling y'all out forever. That's why some places in the continent look the way it look. Some places in the continent look like you still in the 1980s. Some places still got dirt roads in 2025. But yet you go over there where your politicians at. Oh, they got paved roads. They got nice houses. The lights on all the time. The internet is on all the time. They got their 2, 3, 4, and 5 wives, and they driving Mercedes and Lambo and everything else they want to drive. That's the people that y'all need to be talking to and dealing with, sir. Like, you can't really put that on us about unification. Y'all have to get unification on the continent first. And the times y'all want to unify on stupidity, arguing about a parade that nobody knew about. All y'all coming together about, oh, we're going to back up the South Africans about the parade. Why don't you back up the South Africans about getting their land back from the white folk? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I've seen all these different ones from different African countries sit up here saying, we're going to support the South Africans because it's culture, it's culture. Support the South Africans getting their land back. Support the South Africans running them folks up out of there. Support the South Africans with getting Irania ended. That all y'all on the continent need to be supporting them in that way. That's right. The stuff you need to be doing in the continent, you're not doing. Ooh, don't touch the white people. Leave the white people alone. But you're mad about some FBAs in New Orleans that I don't know what they're doing. It's not Zulu culture. I told you it's not Zulu culture. I've been with the Zulus. That's not their culture at all. I don't know what they're doing with that. They shouldn't even put the name Zulu on that. I'm even against the name Zulu being in that mess because that has nothing to do with Zulu culture. That look like some monkey shine to me, personally. I'm saying it. That look like monkey shine. That's stupid. Like change the name, but it's not Zulu. But but you want to come together and argue with them about that, but you're not supporting South Africans with these folks down there. That's the stuff I'm talking about. It's easier to go attack another person in the diaspora, or you got an issue with the Zimbabweans or whatever, but you leave them good white folks alone in Cape Town. You don't deal with them good white folks. Where's the unification about dealing with them white folks in Cape Town?
Right.
Where's the unification dealing with them white folks in Irania?
Right.
Why aren't y'all supporting Julius Malema as a whole continent and saying, hey, this is the man we want to lead South Africa. We the whole continent gonna support Julius Malema. You're not even supporting Julius Malema.
Right.
That's the man you need to rally behind. Captain Ibrahim Traore, rally behind him.
Right.
But those brothers are too radical for some of you on the continent.
Because
you don't want to make the good white people nervous. Oh my God, they kind of racist and radical. Oh my God, they believe in our resources or staying for black people. No, that's not right. Are you serious? So we don't look at white supremacy the same. But I'm gonna get into that point too. Let's go there.
We are stronger together. We are more and we will get far together if we fight for reparations from a Pan-African standpoint. We need to be united in this. That's how the reparation struggle can be very powerful, and that's how we will intensify the struggle, and that's how we will get exactly what we are owed.
I'm gonna say something about that. If FBAs get reparations, the rest of you will. I'm going to repeat that again. If FBAs get reparations, the rest of you would get it. It would actually benefit you to support reparations if you are in this country as an African immigrant or Caribbean immigrant. If the United States of America, if FBAs start getting paid, it's going to be a domino effect. Just like it was during the time of the Civil Rights Movement. If you look at when all these African nations got their independence, it started happening around the time we start fighting.
Yep.
And when the United States had did the Civil Rights Act, because of our blood that was spilled, of our efforts in our fight, one by one, these African nations started getting their independence. It was a ripple effect. If we get reparations, the Caribbean gonna get reparations. They're gonna be some reparations in the African continent. They're gonna be some reparations in Latin America. It's gonna be a ripple effect. So it would actually be better for you to support FBAs in what our fight for reparations here.
Right.
Because let's call it what it is, whether people like it or not. We're the main character. We didn't ask to be the main character. We didn't ask that. And I know why. And I know some of you don't like that about FBAs, that we're the main character. We didn't choose that. God put us in that position. Don't ask me why. God put us as the main character. Let me give you an example why. Or just an example. Notice ever since FBAs have withdrawn and say, yeah, we good, we gonna chill our nerves, we're not being a part of nothing, we only gonna fight when it's time for us to fight. Any protest any other group try to do, people see you, they hear you, but nobody cares. Why don't they care? Because you are not the spirit of America. Your group isn't that. Sorry, it's not. You could scream, yell, protest, and no one would care. We are the spirit of America. We are the main character of America, whether people like it or not. And that's why everybody hates FBAs. Because we are the main character, and no, we didn't put ourselves in that position. People only care when we get involved. That's why they've been begging the white folks, hey, FBAs, look at Trump. Man, come on, you know, they hurting us. Look, come on, you know, let's protest. They know if FBAs come out, the whole world's gonna be paying attention. They say, okay, this protest is serious because the FBAs is there. When it came to the Hispanics, they'll say, hey, you know, FBAs, you know, I mean, we should stick together, black and brown, you know. Why do you think they was talking about black and brown all of a sudden? Yeah. Because they know by themselves no one is gonna care. And they went out and protested too. They had all their foreign flags and went nowhere. Nobody cared. But look at when we start talking about Carmelo Anthony. Look at it. Look at all the attention that's getting because we're talking about Carmelo Anthony, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of people globally that say they can't stand us for it. They can't stand us for it. A lot of the hate comes from that. It's not that we did them anything, because it's like, what do we do to them? Why they feel that way about us? We didn't do nothing to nobody. What do we do? What they upset with is say, why them? Why when they speak, the whole world listen, but when we speak, nobody cares. That's upsetting. I'm matter too. I'm valuable too. Why them? What makes them so special? We went through a colonization. We went through apartheid. We went through this. We went through that. Why are they so special? When they come out with songs and trends and all that, everybody pay attention to it. But when we do it, people hear it. Yeah, they may like it or whatever, but it don't last like until the FBAs do it. That's where really a lot of the hate where it comes from, and we don't understand that because, like, especially the folks, they are really worse with it because they have the money, they have the power, they have all that, but they don't have the spirit of America. They don't have it. And they have oppressed us. They have mass incarcerated us. They have poisoned us. They have given us horrible medical treatment. They have done everything they can to us. And a lot of us have lost our lives, but it's like that old school thing about baby kids. We don't die, we multiply. And that's what's happened to us. We have did nothing but multiply. And only God can make us multiply like that. Because if it was left up to the folks, we'd have been extinct long time ago. We thrive, we survive, and then we still figure out a way, even in the system, where we're sabotaged every step of the way. Like me, if I wasn't a black man, if I was a white man, I would be 1,000 times more ahead of where I'm at right now. If I was a white man. But you know what? I'd rather be in the position I am right now as an FBA, because at least I got soul. Right. At least I'm part of the group that's the spirit of America. I'd rather that all day long than the trinkets that the devil will give me. At least my soul is intact. And anything I do get is a blessing. And you don't need a $1 million to make anything. Let me tell you something. One idea from the Lord can give you $1 billion tomorrow. That's why I say, man, I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for wisdom. God give me wisdom. Because I know with wisdom, I can make $100 million. I don't want money. Give me wisdom. Because then give me the wisdom to know how to keep it. Give me wisdom to keep the fake snakes and lames away from me when I do have it. God, keep my heart humble at all times. And keep my eyes and ears and spirit quickened to the wiles of the devil, so I don't get caught up in those situations. Now, Keisha says anti-Black hate is the reason why we don't have universal health care. Well, you know, the people in charge aren't really educated people, because you don't cut off your arm to hurt somebody else.
Right.
You have to be. Let me say this the right way. Choose my words carefully. You have to be void of a lot of knowledge to be willing to hurt yourself to harm somebody else. You had to, as a group, you had to get on the little short bus as a group to do something that way. You have to. I'm not trying to do nothing to hurt myself to hurt somebody else. If I'm good, I don't care what they getting. They don't live at my house. I don't care what's going on. But because they have so much hate for FBA and they don't want our life to be preserved, but check this out, our life is being preserved anyway in the midst of all this mess. All they horrible food dies in the food. Now they want to get rid of it now. I'm happy they doing it, but now they get rid of it. Okay? All the high fructose corn syrup in the food, bad air, bad this, bad that. You don't hear no area where white people live called Cancer Alley. That's only where Black folks live. All the mess they have done to FBA, and we are still here. And they trust me, every day they get upset like, I don't get how these people survive. How? We done everything to them. We try to break their family apart. We try to mass incarcerate their men. We try to get their men to be LGBT. We try to make their women masculine. If we're not making them masculine, we try to make them to be some 304s. We make them poor. We sabotage them. We hurt their self-esteem. We put all kind of drugs in their community. And now we want to put a dispensary on every block, a vape shop on every block. And they still multiplying. And we're reducing the number.
Got a liquor store or a dispensary.
Do you know your boy Trump floating around the idea to give $5,000 for women to have babies? Now, he don't want to do that because he want a bunch of sisters out here making about 12 children now so they can get a bag. Oh, no. They want to do that to have some more white cheering. That's what they want. That's where their desperation is at now. They're that desperate that now they want to pay white women to have some babies. $5,000 ain't no money for no kid, bro. I'm a father. I can tell you that. Number one, if you put a child in child care, man, that won't even last a couple of months at $5,000. What's that? What you gonna do? If you want a woman to have some babies, Trump, this is what you're gonna have to do. First of all, I will reward married couples. First of all, and then what I would do if I wanted to encourage couples to have a bunch of babies, because I know y'all, a lot of you are just slow. So let me listen to an FBA. Because listen, because we just got the juice, okay? If I want to encourage Americans to having babies, I would the first thing I would do is, okay, I got to get people to home ownership, because I got to get them where they can feel like they're making somebody's life. So what I would do is I will want to get home loans at 1% interest rate. Okay. I would give them we'll pay for the down payment of the home.
Lady Che, we can hear your conversation.
What? What is it?
We can hear your call. Whatever you're saying.
I'm talking to the whole thing. I'm talking out loud.
It's like hard to hear you.
If you want to get a motherfucker to make some babies, first of all, you remove financial stress from their life. They make sure housing is a possibility. They ain't got to worry about money. And all of a sudden, everybody looking at everybody across the room. The love is there. Well, how are you going to get back and forth then just to your house? Right. Okay, so anyway, so you can't come with me. It's important, dude. Fine. What else? All right. Carry on. I was just adding to the same.
I'm trying to do this for months.
Home.
You want to
these FHA loans won't be judged by credit score. We're going to be judged by income and what they can afford, because credit scores are very discriminatory. It just really is. That's what I would do for number one. Number two, I would give these families free WIC, and I would give them probably for about a good 3 years, give them free WIC. And then I would give them vouchers for child care, where the government will pay for the child care no matter where it's at. We'll pay for it, just so the parents don't have to worry about child care. That's what I would do. I would raise the child tax credit to, that's how I would actually do the child tax credit. I may raise it to maybe $10,000 a child. Every child you have, $10,000. You'll get on your income tax for a child. That's what I would do at minimum. To help the fathers of those children, for sure, I would encourage more trade schools, not college degrees. I would give a government incentive for men to get skilled trades like welding, truck driving, HVAC, anything a skilled trade. I would want to pay for that so these fathers can provide for their wives and their children. That's what I would do at minimum to make people comfortable, because a lot of people don't want to have children, Trump, because it's too freaking expensive. It's too expensive. So the government, just like with all this stuff with Doge and all this money you've been giving to foreigners, that's how you start giving the money back to Americans, is what I'm talking about. And we clearly can afford it. Clearly, as you can see, all this money we've been giving to the foreigners and what's the U.S. aid and all that mess, right? That's what you can do at minimum. And look, Trump don't even need Congress to do a lot of what I'm talking about. He don't need Congress. He can do a lot of what I'm talking about right now without Congress. Right now. And if Jerome Powell won't lower the interest rates, okay, I'm gonna get gangsta on him. I'm gonna make him lower the interest rate. I'm gonna make his life so much a living hell. He gonna quit, or he gonna lower the interest rate 1 or 2. He gonna do it because the people need to. I want these people start having some babies. I don't want these foreigners in this country, so we got to have some babies again. You know what I'm saying? I would change the laws with no-fault divorce. That's another thing I would do. I wouldn't say force a woman to stay or a man to stay, but I would not give an incentive to leave. In other words, like, you're not gonna get 50 of everything if you just want to up and leave. No, if you want to leave, take what you got and go on by your business. If you want to leave, once there's no incentive to leave, there wouldn't be no such thing as alimony anymore. That'll be done, because I'm like, what you need to be taking care of a grown woman for, or a man for. And child support, we're gonna redo that. We're gonna see how much both people make with child support. We're gonna look at both salaries, and then we're gonna say, okay, well, let's say if child support is supposed to be $1,000 a month, well, it's 50-50. 500 for you, 500 for you. If the mom got the child, well, it's only $500 a month for the dad, because she live with you. You paying the $5 that way. That's how we redo child support. Joint custody right off the bat. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to encourage certain things, but what do I know, right? What do I know? I'm just a black man in America that had a little life experience with a lot of these systems, like the family law courts, and I've been a father, and I've husband, and just some of my experiences and what I've seen out there, and all of that. Trump, you can't really encourage a lot of working men to be having children when they fear that everything they work for can be taken away from them. So you got to change those family laws. And that's what only Congress can do that, right? Even on the state level, at least the red states could start, right? Revamping no-fault divorce, stopping taking a man's retirement, even if it's a woman's retirement. It's not fair if a woman works 30 years in her career and this man want to up and leave, or he want to cheat on her, right? Because it happens to women too. I don't think he should be able to take her 50% of her retirement that she worked for. She worked for that, not him. That's not right. Or vice versa with a man. So I'm just saying it's a lot of things this country would have to change to incentivize having children. If you go back to the 1950s, we didn't have all these things on the books. No fault divorce, all this incentivizing divorce. You didn't have any of that. And you had more affordability back in the 1950s and 1940s. So you have to get all these prices back down again. Until then, ain't nobody gonna have no children in the Western world, bro. It's just not gonna happen. Now, if you move out the country, yeah, you can have all the kids you want. Like, we was in Ethiopia. If you got the American dollar living in Ethiopia, you can have about 12 kids if you want, because you living a good life over there with that American dollar. Hell, if you made about 3 to 5 over there, you living so large. You can do it in those countries, but in America, $3,000 to $5,000 is really not. I mean, it's okay, but to have a family, you need more than $3,000 a month. Or $5,000 a month. Sure, you can make do, you can, but if we lower the prices, then $3,000 a month. At one point in time, $3,000 a month was great money in this country. It was great.
Yeah, but we not talking about nothing.
No.
We just talking
about ending no fault divorce or bringing back no fault divorce.
none of that matters. I ain't talking about shit. He already made his point. His grand point like 2 minutes.
Yeah, all right. So what's your thoughts on FBAs delineating to fight for ourselves? Now an African brother wants to come together.
I think that ultimately the goal would be, global black supremacy, or global black supremacy. However, it's a little late for trying to jump up on the reparations bandwagon with us. They're going to sue their plural, and the fact that they owe too. They owe us reparations. That they did sell they do owe reparations. Well, it's a beautiful thing. Pan-Africanism would be a very beautiful thing with black nationalism, global black nationalism. However, it's late now. We're a fast cookie pressurized right now. We doing some shit. So now everybody wants to jump on board. It's kind of like a little too late, and if we put out notice for it, that you're too late. Now that you see your country shit, there's some of them are trying to get some control over it and kicking out the colonizer. They kick out the colonizers and shit. It's a lot late, but that's what happens when certain leadership comes up. That they had to wait for certain things to happen. So now you got new leaders and you got old leaders trying to keep it black and all the way black, but peace at the same time. Like, and Traore and all that shit. And so you only got one or two, one of them offering you to go back home to the motherland if you have something to contribute. The other side is that, just trying to keep control of it. That before it gets out of hand, we go back into Dutch or French colonization. So it's late for them to jump on American bandwagon when ultimately we don't forget that motherfuckers were talking shit over there about FBA. Laughing at FBA, talking about they're never going to get their reparations. Shit like that. That tethered angst, that animosity was there. It felt like we forgot. So I think it's kind of foolish for anyone to say, come on now, let's be together. Come on. And you haven't made what you call it, you haven't made us whole either. You know what I mean? That's what I think. That's when you're just as culpable as the colonizer, if not worse, you're like distant cousins from us, and you still treat us like and call us slaves. Then what does that really mean? You know what I mean? You'll have so some of some of them will be happily to call us slaves to our face and say we're still enslaved and be like kaka ki, and here we are. You know what I mean? And that's wrong too. All of it is wrong. When you come over here to take from the most creative fucking part of the diaspora, you know what I mean, which is the Black United States. You come over here and take from us and bite our style, bite our swag, demean us. I mean, and not every examples, it do that to us. And now you want to be like, let's hands, kumbaya, you're my brother, I'm type shit, Black power all the way around. It sounded nice, it sounded good, but you're just like the colonizer who handed to us in that manner. It sounds to say like, that sounds stupid and fucked up, right? But it's just how I feel. It's like you're gonna colonize us to get us out of our genes and get close to our panties, and then you're gonna disappear. You're gonna say sweet nuts to get us out of our genes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then as soon as we get what you want, you're gonna disappear in the dark and continue to laugh and talk shit about Black Americans are getting this and they're not getting that. And that's what I think, in my opinion. So let the shade reflect.
Yeah, yo, niggas, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, they always say that, and the worst thing gets is like, you know, when they hate on Black nationalists, you know, because we want to see global Black nationality. You know, they're like, no, they don't want to because they'd rather be in proximity of whiteness. They get what they want. Well, it's working. Are you getting what you want now? When the proximity of whiteness is trying to deport you? Are you getting what you want now? As anything, you're gonna look to Black Americans to save your life. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All of these people. It's not everybody. It's certain ones, and the certain ones make it bad for everybody because sometimes, as Black nationalists, we look at it, we're like, well, we have to gather everybody up as a whole, as a bundle, because you know you speak for your country, for your countrymen, then all your countrymen think the same. And if we're talking about FBAs, we're all on the same point. We're all on the same code. We're all on the same page. Same everywhere else. Everybody's on their own code, their own propaganda, their own shit. So if you want to say now you want to fucking blend with foundational Black Americans, it's a little late. And you have to prove yourself. You're not proving that you're in alignment and allyship with us when you come and disrespect us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's in a lot of people are seeing. And so we have to be like, for example, even with the black Latin diaspora, you still disrespect how black but you're here. And we're looking at you like you want to go and you want to live. You know? Are you one of us or are you one of them? You look like one of them, but when you talk, you're one of them. And you're rude and you have vitriol in your bloodstream. You know what I mean? You have animosity. And all we want to do is be nobody said that they can't say that Black Americans are angry and mean when you meet them. We're some of the kindest, most lovingest, most forgiving, fucking welcoming people. And yet we're the most shit on, the most disrespected, the most hated, the most fucking whatever, you know. And you would think that even the black diaspora would be kind to us, and they're not. You would think that the African diaspora will be more kind to us, but they're not. Everybody's so judgmental. Everybody's so crucify you just for being a foundational Black American. You know what I mean? And then you got people in our own lineage. I'll let the shape reflect the message. Our own lineage that argue where they come from, knowing damn well that their people come from the South. Their bloodline is from the South. These here, United States. You know what I mean? This foundational Black United States. You know, they're from the soil, but hold all this anger inside because finally some direction being given of how we're supposed to maneuver, and they can't do with the program because it's frustrating or they don't understand, and they don't want to take the time to understand, so they want to push this other animosity out there. When in reality, there's nothing to be about. There's something to be celebrated. You know what I mean? So that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you for that, Lady Che. Yeah, I agree with everything that you said in regards to that. It's a little too late. Y'all about 40, 60 years behind. Talking about trying to unite for reparations.
You have to sue the colonized Africa. And you have a whole bunch of colonized systems. You got the British, you got
the French, the Portuguese,
the English, British. So you got plenty of claims to get on versus little old us. And before you get to little old us, you owe reparations to us too, or to those that you sold. You owe reparations to those families, to those you sold. You know what I mean? Because that did happen. So that right there is a known thing.
Queen.
Because you put that out there, like you want to jump on a claim. Do you not realize that there were some of them that were sold off? You know, go reparations to those families.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Lady Che. There were no countries back then over there. So it would be the kingship of the time, their descendants, that's who we would go after for the reparations claim, because they didn't have no government established over there.
Yeah, those families deserve reparations from the ones that were sold off, from their tribes, or whatever. No, they don't. The fact is that you can lay claim to something that you have no business to claim to, and try to hold hands to get on. You need to do the right thing by the families that were sold off.
Yep. Until then, hold your own nuts and suit your goddamn colonizer.
Yeah, you got plenty. You got plenty of motherfuckers to get money from. Why you want to come over here to live low? Work so diligently. Right. Take notes. Right. Take notes. Yeah, take notes.
Once you got your own reparations organizations and claim, stay the hell out of ours.
They'll say stay the hell out of it, but you can't come over and you make the rent. You can just watch from afar and take notes. Take note about that. All the shit we're talking about on the claims, and then you'll have a little bit of a drawing board. You know what I mean? That should be open to everybody.
I think we will discuss that. Moving along, we got examining the accusation against Shannon Sharpe. No, I know you did something about this on the RBA.
I did like 5.
God damn. Well, Professor Black Truth did his take on it.
All right.
And then Mase has something to say on it as well.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think I got the big. I went over it, and I'm over it. I'm over it.
Okay. So Club Shay J is under fire from a K Becky. So I'm looking for the video here. Happy New Black Media Appreciation Month. It continues.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. The subject of this morning's briefing is the recently filed lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe, and yes, I'll spare you my usual preamble about my disdain for sports. A young woman who Shannon Sharpe had been having a lot of sex with, apparently, decided to turn right around, and now she's filing a lawsuit claiming that in October of 2024, Sharpe had violently sexually assaulted and sodomized her on 2 separate occasions. They're claiming that Sharpe raped and sodomized this woman in October of last year, and then apparently she came back and claims that he did it again in January of this year. Now, I know what you're thinking. If this guy raped and sodomized her in October of last year, then surely she filed a police report, right? Well, the lawyer who's representing this woman, a guy named Tony Busby, he was asked if his client had contacted police during or after these alleged assaults. Not surprisingly, Tony Busby said he couldn't comment. I'll bet he can't. These accusers never do. Now, if Shannon Sharpe had violated and sexually assaulted and sodomized this woman, then why the hell did she go back to him in January of this year by her own admission? It happened a second time. Months later? We're not talking about hours later. We're talking about months later. This was in January of this year when she claims the second assault took place. But if that's the case, why did she send Sharpe text messages saying, I know you missed this big juicy A, $25K for each cheek? She sent that to him on January 1st. So 3 months after she claimed Sharpe had raped and sodomized her, she's back again texting him saying, I know you missed this big juicy A. Oh, you mean the same A that he violently sodomized, right? The same aid that she was offering to him months later. So this lawsuit has problems right off the bat. I know that people want to get to the salacious text messages for the few who haven't seen them. But first, a little background on the lawyer who this accuser went to, Tony Busby. And if that name sounds familiar, it should, because he also represented a woman who claimed that Diddy and Jay-Z had raped her. In fact, Tony Busby has basically made a career out of filing lawsuits against black men like Deshaun Watson. His lawsuit against Diddy and Jay-Z was dropped, predictably, but now we see the Busbys moving on to the next high-profile black man he can find. Do you seriously think that these lawsuits just happen to fall into these lawyers' laps, or do you think it's more likely that they're running around trying to find or otherwise produce them? We know that Ed Blum does that. He literally went to a friend and asked if he could get his daughter to become a plaintiff for one of his phony reverse racism suits. Nobody went to him about that. Ed Blum went out asking for people to make a claim for him. And I also noticed that every aspect of the accusations is worded in such a way that makes it clear that Busby recognizes his client's claims contradict themselves, just like the woman he represented against Diddy and Jay-Z, and he's already trying to put a spin on it. For starters, Busby wrote in the complaint, a woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no even once, that no means no. Now, isn't that extremely strange language to be putting into a lawsuit? If you want to claim that this woman was violated against her will and all the rest of that, why would you then say that this person can have consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times? Why even put that in there and then have it out there for the public to see? The more often that you have sex with someone, the less credible a rape accusation becomes. Because it's obvious that these two have sex with each other regularly. It's already come out that Shannon Sharpe apparently have videoed a number of these sexual encounters, so it smells to me like Busby is using a typical lawyer's tactic of trying to get out in front of whatever damaging or discrediting information that they know is going to be released about their client. You admit to the damaging stuff off the bat, and you hope that people will overlook it because, hey, you already addressed it, right? But this complaint seems to be confessing that this woman has had sex with Shannon Sharpe a lot. So much so that the phrase 99 times was used in a lawsuit submitted in a court of law. Busby seems to already know that Sharpe is going to present a paper trail of text messages and consensual sex videos a mile long. So he's attempting to lower the bar and say, well, the 99 times that you see these two having sex, that was consensual, but all that matters is the one time that she claims it wasn't. So we have to focus on that. And never mind the fact that months after this alleged assault, this woman was sending Shannon Sharpe sexually salacious messages and already scheduling their next get-together. Just overlook that, please. Busby claims that Sharpe videoed an encounter with this woman without her consent. Now, if Sharpe was violently assaulting this woman and raping her and sodomizing her all the time, wouldn't Busby want that evidence to be brought forward? Instead, he's saying it was done without her consent. Keep in mind, Busby is himself supposed to be putting out an edited video of Sharpe and this woman together, and he doesn't seem concerned about anyone consenting to that. See, this is how lawyers talk when they want certain evidence damaging to their case to be suppressed. If this was what Busby claims it to be, then he would want every one of those homemade sex videos to be introduced as evidence, because there's no stronger proof that a crime occurred than someone showing themselves committing their own crimes. Especially since Busby says that Sharpe was doing all this foul stuff to her, shouldn't he be sending Sharpe threatening letters telling him that all of those videos are now evidence in a civil suit and that Sharpe better not get rid of or delete any of them? Because that's what normally happens when there's a civil suit. It's called discovery. The plaintiff sends a motion to the defendant telling them, we want all of your records regarding whatever incident, and you better not get rid of any of them. In a civil suit, the burden of proof happens to be a preponderance of the evidence. That means whoever has more proof. And in this case, Busby wants to have any of the videos that Shannon Sharpe has got thrown out or otherwise rendered inadmissible. That way, he thinks he'll have the only evidence. He's very concerned about this lawsuit falling apart. He should be, since that's exactly what happened to his recent nuisance suits against Jay-Z and Diddy. All kinds of inconsistencies and falsehoods were immediately exposed, and Busby wound up looking like a fool. And speaking of evidence Busby would love to get thrown out of court, we have to talk about the text messages this woman sent Shannon Sharpe, some of which Shannon posted on Twitter. Now remember, this woman is claiming that Sharpe assaulted and sodomized her in October of last year, and that she was so violated and devastated. But if that's the case, why did she continue to send Shannon Sharpe all kinds of kinky and sexually explicit perverted text messages and pursue him for sex afterwards? As late as January of this year, months after the alleged October assault, this woman was still sending Shannon Sharpe messages saying, I know you missed this big juicy A, $25K for each cheek. Well, apparently now she wants $25 million for each cheek. This is months after whatever alleged assault she claims happened, and here she is trying to sexually entice him. Again, who gets, as the lawsuit says, violently assaulted and sodomized by someone, and then for months afterwards keeps on pestering that exact same assailant with sex text messages saying, I know you missed this big juicy whatever. What rape victim texts their rapist offering them more sex? In the lawsuit that Busby had filed, they claimed that Shannon Sharpe had repeatedly threatened to brutally choke and violently slap the accuser. That was something that they made a point of mentioning in the lawsuit, that he had repeatedly threatened to brutally choke her. But if that's so, why is it that a year earlier, in October of 2023, she texted Sharpe saying, quote, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me." So in her own text messages, she was saying she wants to be choked. In fact, she told him she wanted him to do it. It was her idea, not his. This was a year before she claimed Sharpe was choking her and all the rest of it. Well, we saved the worst for last, and one has to wonder if maybe this is the real reason this is all going on. In her text messages, she repeatedly sent him messages saying that she wanted him to get her pregnant. In fact, she talked about pregnancy to an obscene degree. Quote, "Only if you put that baby gravy in me. That's my daddy if I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me." So she was campaigning hard to become Shannon's baby mama, and she was also trying to pressure him into marrying her too. She sent him text messages saying she wanted to put her tongue in his rump and then marry him. That was in January of 2024, 9 months before the alleged assault in October. So this is what this one was saying. She was already sitting here talking about getting married, but I guess the wedding's off now. She wants to go straight to the part where she hits him up for alimony. And we see this with NBA and NFL players and rappers all the time. These guys may be big, tough, and fast, or in the case of rappers, fast talkers, but they're not very bright. Women know that these guys have a psychological defect, an insecurity where they need to have a woman validate them. And that validation takes the form of sexual access. And that makes these guys prey for these free-range thoughts who all know that the fastest way to bring a black man down is to show that he can't keep his pants up. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that terminology like big black anything is never a compliment. That's KKK talk. That's blatant white supremacist sentiment. But this is the kind of relationship that Shannon Sharpe was having with this woman. We'll talk about the whole race play thing in a minute. But predictably, the white media isn't talking about these text messages. Most of them aren't even mentioning the text messages at all. And the few outlets that do mention them, they don't go into detail. They merely allude to them as graphic text messages, and that's it. So the white media, as usual, is doing their part to prop up these kind of accusations. They're already thinking that this is yet another claim of rape against a black man that's already falling apart. But in the meanwhile, they want to try to prop it up anyway, but simply refusing to report on any evidence to the contrary, no matter how overwhelming. The white media is not in the business of entertainment. They're in the business of mind control, and they do it through the use of lying narratives. Now, the earlier statement in the complaint about 99 consensual encounters means nothing. It's only the one refusal that matters. That's relevant because the lawsuit is alleging assaults on two separate occasions. We have to keep going back to that because the entire case that Busby's putting forward is claiming that this woman had no power in this situation. She couldn't say no. She couldn't say no in October. And then months later, when she went back, she couldn't say no then. Seems to me the only thing she can't say no to is sex. At this point, Shannon Sharpe and a number of these black male celebrities, they need to start asking whether or not this Busby character needs to be sanctioned as a vexatious litigant. What that means is somebody who basically files lawsuits for the hell of having done it. Look, the reality is if you're a black person in America, specifically if you're a black man, one who's got money, fame, or both, you're also a target. It's been that way since the days of Jack Johnson. And notice how he got hemmed up because he was running around with some Lucy or Betty's or whatever they called the Beckys back in the day. Now, in Shannon Sharpe's case, reports are that he apparently videoed at least a few of his sexual encounters with this woman. And there's actually long precedent for this among black athletes. I remember back in the 1990s when Cowboys player Michael Irvin was falsely accused of rape. The woman who made the accusation was Middle Eastern, I believe. She didn't know that Irvin had videoed it, but he had. And that's the only reason that Michael Irvin is not in prison today, because that's what they were trying to do. But as soon as they found out about the video, all of a sudden, we better go ahead and hurry up and withdraw this little complaint. Oh, it's not going to be a criminal investigation now. That's what happened then. And this is back in the 1990s. Now, as for Shannon Sharpe, he's no stranger to being sued. Brett Favre tried it, and Shannon won that fight overwhelmingly. Favre was forced to tap out. And Favre's big mouth attorney, who also represented Donald Trump, by the way, was talking basically about how they were going to be cleaning Shannon Sharpe out. But the only thing that got clean was Brett Favre's clock. However, the white media, they're making it very clear. They want to see this lawsuit get propped up. They want to try to give it as much gas as possible. After all, it's been a while since they've had a black man who they could crucify in the media, so as they see it, they're overdue. Busby's been trying to low-key repeat the same pathetic, he's a powerful black man line that was used against Cosby and R. Kelly and Diddy and all other black men in America, calling Sharpe, quote, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants. So we see the recycling of that old trope. This is the same Shannon Sharpe who was unceremoniously forced out of Fox Sports 1 after being repeatedly insulted and humiliated on air by Skip Bayless and spending weeks afterwards publicly pleading for another on-air TV gig. This is not a man used to getting what he wants, quite the opposite. That asinine talking point is the usual wink and a nod that's given whenever it's time to go ahead and lynch some black person in the media before you do it in court. This pattern is so predictable, it's just pathetic. At this point, you can count the minutes before Lifetime decides to do a series surviving Shannon Sharpe. And I'm also expecting Kamal Dumbbell to make another mockumentary. We need to talk about Shannon Sharpe this time. Now, there's something else, though, that has to be mentioned. Shannon Sharpe's lawyers say that what happened was this accuser asking Shannon to take part in sexual role-playing. Well, it turns out it wasn't role-playing, but rather race play. As the black media, we have long told you about this whole race play crap. A lot of people dismissed what we said because in their minds, they had rationalized it away. Whenever these anti-black racists are engaged in race play, they're not playing. And that's the reason why so much of this race play stuff has to do with recreating slave plantations. And while it does get mentioned how black women were violated by these white male slave owners, it also needs to be known that Miss Polly would also make a point of sneaking out to the slave quarters too. As Henry Kissinger said, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac, and that applies to both the men and the women from the dominant society. Too many Negroes are dumb enough, though, to think that it's all a game. But as Dr. John Henrik Clarke spent decades explaining, the dominant society has always carried out their bigotry in the bedroom, too. Black folks refuse to understand bedroom politics. There's no arena, space, or location in the society that these people won't try to weaponize against us. When you have Negroes like that stupid fool who made that so-called play called race play, that's not funny, it's not cute. It's dangerous because it encourages mushy-headed, simple-minded Negroes who are chasing interracial sexual access to race play games with people who are not playing with them. It legitimizes these anti-black racist hostility towards us. So many of these anti-black traditions and practices in this society originally started off as an alleged joke or somebody claiming that it's otherwise non-violent and harmless subculture, like Jim Crow, for example. Race play is all about black people being subservient to white people. That's the basis for it. Now, some of these $40 million slaves may think that what happens in the bedroom is Miss Polly is subservient to them. But that's not how it works. The power dynamic is in her favor, not his. These Negroes who have spent years and years laying up with people may have blinded themselves to that reality, but the dominant society never does. For those clowns out there who wanted to know why the black media came out so hard against this race play garbage, well, you'll never understand, so I won't waste time trying to explain. These people can lay up with you, do the nastiest things imaginable, and have you thinking that surely they wouldn't be doing all this if they were planning to destroy you. And then 5 minutes later, they get right up out of bed and destroy you. They know that a lot of black people, especially athletes who make their money off their muscles and not their minds, can be easily wrapped up. They've had females throwing themselves at them since they were in middle school, so it's habit for those guys. Just do some nasty stuff in the bedroom and his mind will be blown. He certainly will not be thinking you can short circuit his brain in the bedroom because he didn't have much brains to begin with. Meanwhile, all she's thinking about is that she's building evidence for a lawsuit. It's been reported that Shannon Sharpe had tried to settle this issue for $10 million. And it just goes to show that times may change, but a lot of these silly Negroes don't. Michael Jackson thought that he could get this kind of stuff to go away if he offered a settlement, and all it did was it encouraged more lawsuits against them. Once they realize that you're good for the money and that they can get you to buckle, after that it becomes a feeding frenzy. See, they allow white men like the Roger Ailes and the Vince McMahons and others, they allow them to go ahead and have a quiet little settlement filed, and only some intrepid reporter decades later might find out about it. But other than that, it just stays hush-hush. But they don't allow black people to do that, certainly not black men. So I don't know why the world Shannon Sharpe thought that was going to happen. Instead, what will happen is the white media will predictably automatically fall into lockstep, and the courts will be right behind them, dismissing any evidence that proves the black man's innocence and allowing anything that condemns him, even when the evidence is illegal, like they did with Cosby. And in the end, even if they fail to destroy their intended target, They won't be punished or face any consequences for it. None of these women who get caught falsely accusing black men ever goes to prison. None of their lawyers ever gets disbarred. Nobody ever gets hemmed up with some vexatious litigant restriction. No one in the white media makes their name synonymous with liar either. They only do that with black people, like, say, Jussie Smollett. Instead, these lawyers and their accusers will be allowed to go on their way hunting for the next black man they want to take down, while the white media will give them tons of free publicity in the form of TV interviews and praise for the dirt they're doing. Like now disgraced attorney Michael Avenatti, former attorney. He represented some of the plaintiffs against R. Kelly, and he was only confronted and taken down when he made the mistake of going after white men who actually do have power, like Donald Trump. This is how the society weaves this kind of anti-black practice into the society and makes it routine. Yes, the game is just that cold. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Stay Positive, Carl Martin, Cosetta Osler, Craig Simmons, and Atu Hammond. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
New this evening, Denver's Juneteenth Music Festival is facing a major funding shortfall. Festival organizers say this is due to a sharp decline in corporate sponsorships. The festival will shift to a single-day format. In the past, it was 2 days. The festival is also hoping to raise $80,000 to make sure the now single-day event can still move forward. Denver's Juneteenth Festival is one of the largest in the entire country.
Jeez.
Subscribe. Stalking Radio. Like and subscribe.
All right, we're in the building. What's going on, guys? We're early. Round of applause to you, by the way. What's going on with the family? We're doing an early one today. We're switching it up. We're doing an early live broadcast today. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Usually we do the live broadcast late, but we're early right now. I might still do a later one, but I'll let everybody know. But what's up, man? We here. Shout out to everybody in here. Everybody give me a retweet. Everybody give us a nice retweet to let folks know that we are in the building, live and in effect right now. Respect to the law, respect to halal, respect to the law. Let's shout out some of the regulars real quick before we get started. You know how the ritual goes. I got to shout out the great Black Shark, Wani Spots, the lovely Wani, FBA Furball in the building, Remy in the building, Randy in the building, Kurt in the building, Tweety in the building, Sweets in the building, Brother Maroc in the building, so many others. Tierra Dynamite, I see you, beloved. But yeah, give me a retweet. Let everybody know that we're early right now. There's almost 500 people in the first 30 seconds, so that's always a good sign. But I wanted to jump in and talk about the updates on our brother Carmelo Anthony. Shout out to that brother, the Carmelo Anthony, who is a beacon of self-defense. Story just came out today that he has been moved to an undisclosed location because, as we know, he was on house arrest pending the trial where he was defending himself. And Carmelo has been getting just massive death threats. The New York Post posted about the story. It says that the 17-year-old's family was gravely concerned because they were hit with an alarming increase in threats and harassment over the weekend. The people have been loitering outside of the home. There's been these suspected white supremacists hanging outside of the house, suspected white supremacists mailing the family obituaries, suspected white supremacists making false food deliveries as an attempt to provoke fear and intimidation to the family. The court, from what I understand, a family rep said the court had recently approved the move to ensure immediate safety for the family. So, yeah, the family's being highly intimidated by the white supremacists out there in the area. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. We got to understand how white supremacy works. This case is very pivotal. They're targeting Carmelo because, see, they view him as a symbol of defiance. Carmelo represents a young black man who stood his ground and survived a white aggressor. So to the white supremacists, that makes him a threat to the power narrative. So this is why these white supremacist suspects are really freaking out with this case. Also, with him defending himself against a white aggressor, Carmelo, he disrupted the whole racial power hierarchy. You defend yourself against a white attacker and you survive. See, you flip the script. You're not supposed to do that. Black folks are supposed to just be sacrificial lambs. Let these folks do what they want to do with us and then cry and pray later and pray for some damn justice. No, he took justice in his own hands, as he should have. And historically, the system, they protect white aggressors, not the victims, especially when the victims are black. So that disruption, it angers those who are invested in the racial hierarchy. And these white supremacists, they're trying to send a message to other black youths, really. These threats going to this kid's house and all that, this is about sending intimidation through examples. See, they want to make Anthony into like a warning. See, this is what happens to you blacks if you dare to fight back. See, we can't let these people punk us out with this cowardly nonsense. They're very upset that Anthony was granted bail, the fact that he was allowed due process, and he was released under house arrest, which is what happens to a lot of these people in these cases. Same as Rittenhouse, same as Zimmerman, same as Daniel Penny, all of them. They hate when we get equal justice, when everything is equal. Oh, the world is coming to a damn end. Yeah, he's not, the case isn't over. The case hasn't really started, but he's just being treated equally. They don't like equal. They want us to be completely railroaded. They want intense punishment for a black person off the rip. You ain't supposed to get no bail or nothing. And the fact that he is under house arrest, that challenges that whole white supremacist belief that the legal system should always side with whiteness, especially when they have confrontations with black people. See, the white supremacists, they feel like it's their right to dominate, and they feel like that right was challenged. See, the white supremacists, they believe they got this unspoken right to physically confront or dominate black people without any consequences. See, they're supposed to do this, that whole Karen thing. You know, every day we see videos of some Karen or some Ken walking up to a black person. Hey, what are you doing here? Why are you in this swimming pool? Let me see your ID. You shouldn't be here. Or do you live here? It's this whole thing where they're just supposed to come and police us and check us and check our freedom papers anytime they feel like it, as if they have the authority to do so. And this case challenges that. So this is very important to these white supremacists. And they're really angry at the public support that Carmelo Anthony is receiving. See, this is like a proxy thing. They're intimidating us to kind of show vitriol towards us as a whole community. The hundreds of thousands of dollars raised in support of Anthony, that has enraged the white supremacists. See, they see this as proof that black communities are organizing to protect themselves, and that terrifies them. And they want to try to derail his legal defense by threatening him and creating a climate of fear. They're trying to emotionally destabilize him, sabotage his legal team's focus. And they really want to provoke him into violating his house arrest conditions. Luckily, I think, again, they got permission from a judge to move to another location. But yeah, they're doing all types of weird tactics. They're using these terror tactics to basically circumvent the legal system. See, when the court don't deliver the punishment they want, they believe that they should take justice in their own hands through these terroristic threats and vigilante harassment. And they're really, really upset about the precedent that this case sets. See, if Carmelo wins in court, this will encourage other Black youths to defend themselves against racist aggression. See, they're really hell-bent on preventing that legal and cultural shift. Because see, these white supremacists, they see themselves in the Austin Metcalf guy. They see themselves in the attacker. To them, the white team who initiated the assault, that represents them. And Carmelo's defense and survival feels like a direct attack. It feels like a direct attack on white supremacy, not just one individual. See, they look at Carmelo as attacking white supremacy. Okay. Let's get District Me. This is, this is the crazy lady. Okay, oh, my bad. I just let this person up, and this is the crazy lady. District, what's happening?
Okay, first of all, hey Tyreek, hey pretty.
Are you still crazy?
How you doing, pretty boy? I just heard your uncle.
Are you still crazy?
He did the whole switch. But anyways, I want to tell y'all something about Texas.
Are you still crazy as cat shit?
Texas McKinney has nothing to do with Dallas, none at all. McKinney is just like McKinney. Think about it. McKinney. So if you are smooth skinned and you decide to want it, that's fine. You do as you wish. But why would you do that? And first of all, Tyreek, I haven't spoken to you in a while, because if you sit up here protecting stupid and McKinney, something gonna happen. Because let me tell you, let me make it very clear. Let me make one thing very clear. You have the right to carry and conceal in the state of Texas. Let's make that clear. Secondly, we have what is called wildlife out here. So you can also do it because of that. Now, here's one more thing I got with the knife. The little smooth skin bought the knife from a gun store. So he was on his way to get a pew-pew, but you can buy a knife because of Texas, because of wildlife. Y'all got it? Period.
District, where are your handlers? District, where are your handlers? Where are your handlers? They must be on a lunch break right now. Is there a lunch break at the crazy house right now? Are your handlers on a lunch break?
There is no knife.
Okay, good Lord. Okay, we ain't heard from that crazy ass woman in a long. She, as you see, she's crazy as cat shit. Okay, and God bless her heart. Yeah, she's over at the nut house, and her handlers are at Chipotle right now, taking a lunch break from her crazy ass. So she ran to the phone to call me, talking about some damn El DeBarge. I just served El DeBarge. You bought a knife and El DeBarge running around here like this? That's some crazy cat shit. Bless her heart, though. Good Lord, man. Well, because I pushed the button and I realized it was her. Oh, goodness. Oh, all we can do is give healing hands of prayer. That's it. But let me get some more people, because I do want to hear from the family, just not people who are crazy as cat shit. I do want to hear from some of the folks in here. Let's get Terry in here. Let's get Terry in the building. Terry, hop on in. What's up, Terry? How are you, brother?
She's down here in the Metroplex right now.
Oh, cool. What's happening down here?
Yeah, man. Born and raised here in Dallas, 214. I'm in the 817 right now, which is Fort Worth. But check this out. If they don't get that case moved from Collin County, Brother Carmelo gonna have a problem. Right? Because there's two options they have. Part of that county out there is Denton County. If they get it moved to Denton County, you have a better chance to get some FBAs on the jury. But the best chance he has is to move it to Dallas County. He moved to Dallas County, then we cooking right there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Also, did you get that Big Red from the grocery? You go to the grocery store, get that Big Red?
Man, I could not find a Big Red to save my life down there, man. They had Big Shot, they had Backs, they had every brand except the Big Red. I've been hell bent on getting some damn Big Red soda. I've tried to order it.
Yo, I'm telling you, Walmart should have it. No matter where you at, Walmart should have those things, man.
They didn't have, man. I looked all around New Orleans. I was looking for Big Red. I went in all the hood liquor stores, the washeries, all everywhere. I could not find the Big Red, man.
Yo,
But
that's crazy.
I'm gonna have to, when I go to Texas, I'm gonna go into Buc-ee's or somewhere to see if I can get some Big Red soda. The Big Red soda is very good, and I've been trying to. I can't order it. I tried to order it on Amazon, and it gets canceled. So somebody hooked me up with some Big Red sodas down south. Great Black Sharpe, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Black man? Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, fam?
I'm grand. Hey, brother, thank you for bringing this information to the family's attention. And I want to say this very briefly. And everybody should know this, but in case they don't, these are times where drawing close to family is going to be paramount for all of us, especially the Anthony family. Hopefully, all the men in the family are on code. They're surrounded, that brother there, because they're going to need that. Even with him moving, these white supremacists, the minute that, this case came to our attention, it was racial on their end. And that's they're leaking all the information about people's addresses, trying to do the passive aggressive threat thing so that we could see things like this happening, like you were mentioning. So I want to say this to the sisters that's out there. I get it. Everybody's situation is different, but you got to have some type of family close to you in these types of situations, because all of us could be facing this. We never know when it could be one of us or our children in the same situation. So I'm going to keep putting money on their fund, trying to support these brothers and sisters. I mean, everybody do what they can as your heart is inclined, but man, we got to make sure that we are on code and prepared to deal with these types of threats, because that whole thing with that rally, I honestly do believe that was some type of misdirection. I could be wrong, but the silent white supremacists are the ones that we need to be watching out for.
Right. Real talk. Thank you so much, Great Black Sharpe. Yeah, let's be very clear. I was talking about that failed rally, and I said, don't be fooled by that failed rally, because see, a lot of the white supremacists online were like, see, there's no white supremacy. Didn't no white supremacists show up? No. Just because y'all stayed home don't mean that you're not there. Y'all just didn't want to go out there and expose yourself. Oh, let's be very clear. The white supremacists, they're still around now. They're just trying to be more covert and low-key. And now they're trying to get into vigilantism, which they always throw that thing at us. They always come to us saying, listen, if this trial don't go your way, are you guys going to go out there rioting in the streets? That's their mindset. See, they sit up and tell us to respect the legal system all the time. Respect the law, respect the legal system. And the minute it doesn't go their way, look at what they're doing. They preach law and order until it protects black people. See, now it doesn't serve their racial bias. So now they abandon that altogether. And immediately start with the threats and the illegal tactics. See, these people claim to support the Constitution except the 14th Amendment, which guarantees equal protection under the law. A black teen gets that protection. They flip out and act like all the country is failing. No, he's getting equal protection. Like I said, equality to the white supremacists is a failure. We're not supposed to have equality. They're supposed to dominate, and we're supposed to beg for equality and wait for them to decide to give it if they choose, which they never really choose. Equality has to be determined on their terms. See, we made equality pop off on our own terms here. And they don't like that. See, the white supremacists, they will condemn vigilantism from black people, but be the first ones to practice it themselves. They'll run up in a Capitol building and justify it. When a black person is talking about self-defense, oh, that's vigilantism. But look at them. These white supremacists are stalking, threatening, harassing this man, this kid, his family, outside of the bounds of the law. Classic extrajudicial behavior. That whole lynch mob mindset. that's a part of white supremacist culture. See, they demand obedience to the justice system when it comes to us. We better respect the law, respect the justice system, but the minute it's fair to us, they want to undermine it. When the system works properly and upholds a black person's rights, like Carmelo, they no longer trust the court. They've been threatening the judge. Suddenly, it's street justice and revenge. See, they only support the law when it protects white power. You see, and they always pointing the finger to us, talking about riots and the mob mentality. But the minute it doesn't go their way, they start forming lynch mobs online and in person. They got the digital lynch mobs to dox, harass, and they're physically going to this brother's crib. And see, they'll sit up here and blame black communities for not trusting the police, quote unquote. But now they undermine police authority themselves. When black people speak about crooked cops, we're told to comply and just be quiet. And these same white supremacists, they openly defy law enforcement decisions. They defy house arrest rulings and bail. They defy the law when it doesn't work their way. And let's be very clear. Based on the law, Carmelo is innocent. What does the law say? You are innocent until proven guilty. Carmelo is innocent. When we say he's innocent, we're not lying. He is innocent. You're innocent until proven guilty. But these white supremacists, it's like, no, we're white and we say so. They pretend to love due process, but immediately declared Carmelo guilty without a trial, simply because the victim was white. Yeah, we're not going for these old racial double standards. And they always talk about emotional reactions from black people. Oh, y'all stop being so emotional. Just understand the law. But they're filled with emotion and rage right now. Yeah? They're the ones threatening violence. They're the ones stalking homes. They're the ones breaking laws right now based on pure racial anger. They're acting a damn fool right now. And when they do little janky shit to us in the court system, they say, well, we need peaceful dialogue. Just be nonviolent. You gotta just be peaceful and just pray and learn how to forgive, you angry Negroes. Now, when something don't go their way, it's like, where are the guns, threats, it's violence. Oh, no. They get into terrorism when something doesn't go their way. Because, see, they're always acting like the legal system is flawless. They always tell us, well, if you don't like the legal system, buddy, this is the best system that we have. If you don't like it, you can go to Africa. How's Africa looking, huh? So, the legal system is the legal system, okay? So just stop the marching, stop the being woke, stop all the wokeness, and just go along with the system. Now the system is working for black people. Oh, the system has to burn down. Oh, the only system they support is a system that reinforces white supremacist racial dominance. The minute it acts fair or neutral, oh no, we gotta dismantle this. Oh no, we gotta have another civil war. Give me those Confederate flags. Damn the U.S. Let me get Nikki the God in here. Nikki, hop on in, beloved. Nikki, hop on in, dear.
Peace to Rika. I agree with everything you say. Thank you so much for using your platform the way that you use it. I'm so grateful for you. I walked in late, so please forgive me if I have something wrong. I need to know that Dominique guy who's always got him around him. Has anyone contacted NOI? Does anyone plan on having NOI protect him? Because even Michael Jackson knew to have the Nation of Islam protect him in a situation like this. So what is that Dominique guy doing? I'm not trying to just talk bad about a black person, but we need to have this young man protected. We also need to have the judge protected. And I'm sure, the Nation of Islam, they are so thorough. I'm sure they would love to see about them. So I was wondering if anyone reached out to them. Eileen,
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. So yeah, that's very interesting. That's a very interesting thing because that kid needs protection. He does need protection, and that's a very interesting. Hold on, let me get EJ. Let me get EJ in real quick. Hold on, but yeah, he does need protection. EJ, hop on in, brother. Let's get brother EJ in the building. EJ, hop in. EJ.
What's up, Tariq? You can hear me?
I can hear you. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother, man? That crackheaded drunk lady that was coming on here earlier, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. We got bigger business than to be seeing people's grandmothers get smashed out at churches by deacons and stuff, drunk off Ripple. But this all I'm gonna say right here, then I'm gonna land my plane. The time of playing games with these white supremacists is over with. We need to do everything within our power and everything within the legal system to make sure that Brother Carmelo is well protected. Because I just seen a video of the judge getting it was a video out there of the judge's door getting kicked in by some person that was out there.
And I saw that. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know how accurate, but I did see that, and I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, but all I'm gonna say this right here, man. Brothers and sisters, make sure y'all practicing y'all Second Amendment rights, man, because these folks like running up on people when y'all are not well protected, especially the ladies too, man. Make sure that you have, them pews on you, because I'm liable in my situation like that. If it's a self-defense situation, mayonnaise jars is going to be sprayed and everybody's going to be real hurt in a situation like that. But salute to Brother Carmelo, and thank you for letting me speak, Tariq. Salute to you.
Thank you. Now, and here's the thing, and this is the thing. So you got to see these white supremacists might be trying to provoke our brother Carmelo into surrounding himself with the Nation of Islam. Now, that would be good as far as protection, but they understand this is a racialized case, and if the NOIs got around Carmelo, that would actually be flipped and work in the favor of the prosecution. So that's probably why they're being very careful with that, because the white supremacists would actually want that. Because they know if those FOIs get around him, he's going to be good. But they'll flip it. You know what I'm saying? They'll flip that. Let me tell you why they'll flip it. They'll flip that because, number one, they'll start painting Carmelo as a radical. The minute he gets them NOIs around him, them FOIs, oh my God. Oh, there's that radical Black Panther, that black extremist. They'll play that role. You see? Then it'll give prosecutions the ammo they need to say, okay, well, he was linked to an extremist group, especially if there's a conservative jury pool there. You know what I'm saying? So then they'll start trying to, the white supremacists, they'll jump on that. The far right groups and all of these people, I won't even put it on the far right groups. The left wing media jump on it. Yeah, if they got those NOIs protecting Carmelo, the left wing, not only the right wing media, the left wing media. You know why? Because the left wing media will be like, oh God, the anti-Semitism. Oh God, Carmelo is running around with anti-Semites. That's what the left wing media would do. The right wing would be running around here talking about woke. Oh God, he's gone woke extremist. And then the left wing media, oh God, he's around the anti-Semites. So they'll just double team. They'll pounce on that narrative. They will completely pounce on it. Then they'll start making the whole narrative about Farrakhan, because they're already trying to make the narrative about this Dominique guy, this dude who's somewhat of a spokesperson for the family. And this Dominique dude has all types of crazy shit on his jail record. So if they have those NOIs around that brother, they'll say, oh God, Farrakhan, and this is what Farrakhan has done throughout the years. Oh God, Farrakhan, and Malcolm X and the Elijah. They'll just run with the shit because they're desperate. So I understand kind of why they don't want to go that route, which for protection they would need to. I would say they would have to get some of them Texas First Amendment brothers down there who's kind of covert, and just rock with them. Not do no big old display of force, but just have some covert hitters around so that these white supremacists slip up around the house. You got some hitters out there on the low to make sure everything is good. You got to be very strategic at this point because every little thing, every little optic is going to matter. And what the white supremacists do, they'll try to push you and provoke you to make a move so that they can pounce on it and run with it. Very interesting dynamic. Y'all, hop on. Get your hands up here. Everybody get those hands up. And you know, I am going to go on later too because I know I usually go on late at night, but I'm gonna go on later too. I just wanted to hop on early. Hop on let me see. Let's raise some hands. Let's get Viral Drip in the building. Viral Drip in the building. Hop on, Viral Drip.
You are absolutely right. I just had to come up after you mentioned that because if you recall, during the O.J. Simpson trial,
yep,
the Goldman Farrakhan.
Oh yeah,
Farrakhan. One thing else, Fleck, and I'm gonna drop down. Boy, those white supremacists are big salty about sinners. They walking out of the theaters.
Oh yeah, they're so salty about. Thank you, brother. Yeah, they've been whining about sinners, but I'm gonna get on that in a second. But yeah, remember and I've always brought this up during the OJ trial. The white supremacists were doing the same thing. They were threatening OJ, and they were giving a lot of threats to Johnny Cochran. They were threatening because Johnny Cochran was in that courtroom, just verbally whooping them white supremacists' asses. He was giving that business to Mark Furman. He was just running circles. Johnny Cochran was controlling that courtroom. These white supremacists were sick. They were so mad, and they were threatening him. Some of y'all might not be old enough to remember because this was 30 years ago. But they kept threatening Johnny Cochran. He kept getting the brunt of the threats because he was the most visual and the most vocal throughout the case. And he was just poking holes in the whole case. Just brilliant. And he kept getting them threats. So Johnny Cochran, he started showing up with them FOIs. Johnny Cochran went to court with them FOIs. Boy, them white supremacists lost their damn minds. Oh, they act like the world was over. And boy, that Ron Goldman's dad, Fred Goldman, and he's so funny style. Fred Goldman got on TV crying and yelling. Did you see Johnny Cochran with those Nation of Islam? Farrakhan. He's with the people who's down with Farrakhan. God, this man is sick. Like, yeah, what the hell you think he's gonna do? Yeah, he's gonna have them FOIs with it. And they didn't mess with him either, did they? They backed the hell up off Johnny Cochran, didn't they? At that time, remember the mid-90s? This was right before the Million Man March. At that time, them FOIs was nothing to play with. You better not mess with none of them FOIs at that time. So it was real. It was very, very real. Let me get Brother Blacc Alpha in the building. Brother Blacc Alpha, hop on in. Blacc Alpha, what's up, brother?
Having me up, family. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for this space, family. I just want to say two things, and I got to big up your point that you made the other day about how that White Lives Rally thing was kind of like a misdirection. I don't trust that father. I don't trust that father because he was there trying to say, bring the temperature down, and he was trying to denounce that Jake Long guy, but just a few days prior to that, he was trying to intimidate the family.
Yeah.
I think he plugged in with some people, and then I know you're always speaking about how the white supremacists play both sides of the argument.
Yes.
There's out there, brother. I don't know if you've seen it, family. It's really hitting. They're not really showing it. There were some of those Antifa folks that popped up at that White Lives Matter rally. And one of the ladies got arrested because she had a bag with a knife in it.
Oh, damn.
I believe, yeah, I'm going to post that for the family. I believe personally that some of these people from the left are going to go there. They're going to instigate the situation, and they're going to dump it on Carmelo so the left can play their typical game of trying to misdirect our good brother. So I just wanted to bring that up to you and the family, man, and salute to you, fam.
Much respect. Thank you so much. Yeah, man, we got to watch these things out here. We got to watch these things out here. It's very interesting dynamics. Let's get Bread Man in the building. Bread Man. What's up, Brad?
Hey, what's the damn deal, big coach? Salute, Tariq. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Yes,
I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm gonna get straight to it. The simple question I wanted to ask, I think the previous brother really tapped in on the double play, by a certain community. I just really asked the question on the previous space that, did the father of Austin really come? Because I think that, the Martin Luther King in me, that would be great. If you wanted to come and pray in front of the people together, I think that would have been beautiful. But a lot of people in our community, we see everything. You can't hit us with the oopty wop. And salute to the family for protecting their space.
Mm-hmm.
But my question to you would be on a bigger scale, because Malcolm X said that, when the white girl asked him, what can I do? What can we do as white people to play a part? He had a stern answer for her brother. So my question would be, when it comes to the constitutionalists, the First Amendment auditors, the Second Amendment auditors, there are a lot of white people, because I'm from Texas, that they not falling for the oopty wop. When it come down to the story of it, the black man had a right to protect himself. He had a right to bear arms. He had a right to be where he was supposed to be on public property. He had a right to protect himself. It's a lot of white people that stand against what happened.
Yeah.
So my question to you, brother, and I'm gonna tap out and really want to hear your answer and the people. Is there space to co-opt with that particular space of the white community, or do we have a hard red line on this? And with that, I thank you for bringing me up. I would just like to hear the answer.
Thank you. So here's the thing. We need those white people who always say, oh yeah, I agree with self-defense or whatever. We need them in the court, because they'll talk a good game, but they're never in the court when we need them. That's our problem. They'll talk all that, hey man, oh, justice for all and equality. Oh yeah, I'm an ally. And then you get in the court and it's a unanimous support of the white supremacists. Like, we can never get these people in the court in large numbers like we need them. So that's my thing. Where are you in the court? Because they don't need us to dismantle white supremacy. The so-called liberal whites, or the white people who are against white supremacy, they can go into these white communities and stomp that shit out themselves if they wanted to. So when they want to come around us as if they need permission to stomp out white supremacy, see, that's a trick bag within itself. I want y'all to understand this. When they come, hey, can I come in your spaces and help? You don't need to come in our spaces and help. You're over there with the white supremacists already. You can be dismantling that shit over there. So when they want to come to our space, it's just like the movie Sinners. See, what happens is you invite them in, and they can only come in if we invite them. When we invite them to the cookout, that's when the starts. We say, come on in, and then they start poisoning us from the inside. They come in and infiltrate and undermine from the inside when we let them in with their fake allyship. Just like in the movie Sinners. Remember, the head vampire was like, hey man, the Klan, those bad clans, they're going to come get you. So yeah, you come join with us. We don't believe in race. It's multicultural. Just let us turn you into a vampire so we can leech off of your talent and your spiritual essence, so we can harvest your energy. And the exchange is, well, you get to live in a racial harmonious existence, which is not a racial harmonious existence. Basically, you're living under a certain white supremacist who's going to be a little less brutal on the surface as the other ones. And he's just as brutal because he's still harvesting your energy. So watch that movie, man, and just really go in with your third eye open to peep all of the symbolisms they were telling you in that movie. It's a phenomenal movie. Let me see. Let's get Chris Miles in the building. Brother Chris Miles in the building. Chris Miles. Oh, Chris Miles ain't saying nothing. Chris Miles, one more time.
Tariq.
There you go. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, my brother? Man, finally, I get an opportunity to talk with you. Man, I've been a big admirer of you. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, shout out to Alabama. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. so you know the history of this place, man.
Oh yeah.
Couple of things too. Not to deviate from the story, but I have a talk show as well, and also I was once a part of our ISUPK, and I saw that you did something with Tazariot.
Yeah.
But let me just say this, Tariq. I think there's a lesson. The Most High always reveal lessons to us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what most of us don't realize how damning Martin Luther King's dream was a nightmare to us. Now, I was sitting here listening to some of the other brothers that came before me, and they were speaking about this particular area of Texas. There actually sundown towns still exist in the state of Alabama. I couldn't care my black ass in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, this is the greatest opportunity for us as black people to reevaluate our situation. And one of the things I want to say, we got to stop moving in their areas. I'm gonna say in their areas, because when shit like this happens, guess what? We're not selected for it to be on the jury. So one of my concerns, my sister-in-law lives in Dallas. But one of my concerns is like the guy was saying, you know, if they don't move that case out of Dallas, Tariq, man, they gonna sink him, bruh. They gonna sink him. And I think realistically, Tariq, man, we just gotta stop moving in those areas. We gotta build up our community. We gotta centralize our money. We just gotta take care of each other. One of the best ways to take care of each other, man, is for us to take care of our own community, build it up, stay within, and do business with each other, man. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be laconic and I'm gonna slide off.
Yeah.
This is what I want to say. The fact of the matter is, it's done now. It's done. But like one of the other brothers came on before me, we got to continue to donate money to the cause and to the case. And I'm pleading with you, Tariq. I'm pleading with you to, man, don't let this story die, bro. Keep this story for all of us, man.
Absolutely.
Because it's needed.
Absolutely.
You have a major following, and you being one of the leaders of the community, man, don't let this shit fall by the wayside, man. And all of us, we whatever it is that you think or select for us to do, I'm with it. So I just want to thank you once again for taking my call, man. I've been a big admirer of you, man. I love your work. And I would love for you one day, man, if you get an opportunity, man, you need to come to Alabama, man, to see the Civil Rights Trail. Not only that, you need to come down here and see where they brought our ancestors. They came up through the transatlantic slave trade. It's just so much history here.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of that shit is still going on in Montgomery, man. Mm-hmm. That's the crazy part. This shit ain't going nowhere. It is actually still happening right today.
Yeah.
You understand? So anyway, man, hey, man, keep us posted on the information.
Thank you so much, brother. All right. Red Cloud. Now, Red Cloud, he comes in and kind of changes the subject a lot, but let's see what Red Cloud has to say. Red Cloud, what's happening?
How you doing, Tyreek? All right, and I'm gonna make it quick because I'm working, so I think it's a win-win because I gotta get off it. But I see there's correlations, I think, with this case and other cases that all kind of go back to Greenwood and how they burned down Black Wall Street, and yeah, I don't know. I think what that previous gentleman was saying, you do have to keep it in your community, but if you're gonna try to make something, let's say you have 100 people and you pull something together to try to make something great. If they destroyed that thing, that's great. If that's the thing that always keeps happening, right? It's tough to fight against, because every time you try to get together and work as a group, they just destroy the thing that you collectively tried to build. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Dude, I've been doing, because it's fun. It's history in general. I'm not trying to be like the opposite of like a.
Thank you, Red Cloud. Red Cloud just kind of gets to babbling. Thank you. Shit. Salih Abdul, what's up, brother?
What's going on with you, Tariq? Man, listen, I'm not going to take off the subject, but I'm just going to advise for mindset, future mindset.
Okay.
Everybody, you got to go back to the Mac lessons, man. Y'all got to go and y'all got to just sit back and listen to the Mac lessons, and you'll get the mindset of where Tariq is coming from. Like I went all the way back to the Mac lessons, man. Then I check them out and I listen to them. And it's a lot of game because it's a mindset. You basically are preparing and teaching a mindset for days like this.
Yes.
For situations like this. So it's like underappreciated, but it's needed in our community for our men and for our women. So that's just all I wanted to say, man. I wanted to big it up because when I found it, I've been hooked on it. And I'm like, man, this is a mindset that the brother like he's teaching and he's educating on. And a lot of people go back and check the Mac lessons, man. And
thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Afro Elite, what's up, Afro?
What's up, Tariq? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. This case is a very important case. It's a precedent-setting case. Just like Trayvon Martin and other cases, it's a very important case, not just to foundational Black Americans, but white supremacists feel like this is a very important case too. And already they feel like they're losing the case. That's why this Josh guy, he's out there. I don't think that he's out there to be like a leader. I think he's out there to be a messenger. We have to pay attention because a lot of these extremists, sometimes what they do is they're just out there to be over the top, but they're there to send an underlying message to the white moderates. He's letting people know that, hey, if Carmelo gets off on self-defense, this is going to be an open season on white people, which is AKA we're going to start losing.
Yeah.
White people are going to start losing all of this bias in the court, all of the Kyle Rittenhouse. And I'm white and I say so.
I have you go. Afro, come back up. I don't know what happened.
You hear me?
Okay, there you go. Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know where I left off, but I'm saying that they understand that with the Carmelo case, if they lose the Carmelo case, the white supremacists feel like the I'm white and I say so that they've been using for the last decade or so, they feel like that's going to go out the window.
Right.
So that's why this Josh guy is out there pretty much sending dog whistles to let them know, like, hey, our white power is on the line. So he's sending this not even to the extremists, but really to the white moderates, the ones that sit on the fence. Right. In case the jury gets on there like, hey, I just don't want Black people to be able to get away with stuff like this. So that's why he's out there. He's not, he's really a messenger trying to send an underlying message to the moderates to tap into that inner white supremacist.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, brother. Carlos, what's up, Carlos? Because you're doing a lot of emoji pushing. Carlos, what's up, man? Carlos? Okay, dude, you don't. If you over there, don't. Hey, Carlos, we don't need to know how you're getting your rent paid right now, sir. We don't need all that. You can get your little rent paid on your own terms. We're having a discussion here. Now you up here busting your pussy open for your landlord to get some of that Section 8 rent knocked down. That's not our problem, Carlos. And we're not judging you, but please call us when you're done with your landlord. All right? Because you're really working, you're really trying to get some utility bills thrown in there too, it sounds like, brother. Damn. Right? So I'm going to let you do you, and then you get them bills paid the way you need to get them paid. Make the money, don't let the money make you. Shit. Okay, let's get some other people in here. All right, let's get Nasty Nathaniel in here. Let's get Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate, what's going on, man? Nasty Nathaniel, what's happening? Unmute your mic. How you doing, Nasty Nate?
What's up? I heard you talk before about how you don't care if Louis stores get looted during injustices.
I don't care if stores get looted.
Yeah, so when Anthony is convicted, do you care if they loot the Hidden History Museum?
Well, if he gets convicted, or if he gets off, are you going to be upset that the white supremacist is going to be targeting you too? Because they're not going to care that you're an East African immigrant?
Well, actually, Black people have been able to use these self-defense laws for their benefit.
Not really. Name some cases where we've used self-defense against white people who harmed us.
Well, you talk a lot about.
And answer the
Daniel
question.
Penny.
You
Why
talk
don't you bring
about
that
deflecting. Answer the question. Name some cases where
Jordan Williams.
Who?
Jordan Williams.
Who?
Jordan Williams. Same case before Daniel Penny, where a black guy was on a subway, and a thug came up to him and he tried to like kill his girlfriend. He was making
He
threats.
had a knife.
And
That guy
Jordan
had a
Williams,
knife. That guy had a weapon.
He didn't attack anyone.
He had a weapon. He pulled a weapon out. That's completely different.
No, it's not completely.
He had a
different.
weapon. Yeah, if you got a weapon and then you defend yourself from somebody who has a weapon, yeah, that's kind of justified. Jordan Neely didn't have a weapon and he didn't touch anybody or do anything to anybody. So your bad faith argument fails again. Nasty Nate, you are the king of bad faith arguments. So get your bad faith argument ass out of here. We're not going to do that. You're not going to bring up bad faith arguments, which is he's good at that. He's an East African tether who pretends to be a white supremacist. And that's the problem right there. See, that's the problem. When we talk about having communities, these black communities, quote unquote, we need to have more black communities, whoop-de-whoop, so they can pull from jury pools. The problem is these black communities, quote unquote, are full of damn tethers, like Nasty Nate. And then these tethers get on these jury pools, and they're damn near worse than the white supremacists because they want to be like them. They want to be on code with them white supremacists. And they start undermining us from within. Go look at the movie Sinners. Go look at the movie Sinners again. Y'all remember the cornbread character? He was guarding the juke joint, and then he went out I hate giving spoilers, but he got the white vampires flipped him and turned him into one, and then they sent him back, and he was trying to finesse his way back in the juke joint so that he could harm the people, and they knew something was up. He represented the tether Sambo that's been infused with white supremacy. And then they come among us trying to act like they have a camaraderie, using their melanin and using a little knowledge that they have of the community, so they can come in and then poison all of us, and then undermine all of us, and then absorb us and harvest us. So really watch that movie with your third eye. And that's Nasty Nate represents that. All right. Oh, goodness. Well, we got a lot of people in here. Shout out to everybody in here. Y'all know we usually do the broadcast late, and I'm going to do it later on today. And y'all need to follow me here and follow my YouTube channel, Tariq Radio. Also, everybody go to the Hidden History Museum. Give a contribution to the Hidden History Museum, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a book called Hidden Heroes from A to Z. Get that book, Hidden Heroes from A to Z. Let me get up out of here.
Hi, I'm Mateo. Do you want to learn about Hidden Heroes? Hidden Heroes from A to Z is a cool book that tells us stories of amazing black heroes you might not know about. You'll meet inventors, you'll meet explorers, and leaders who change the world. It's fun, inspiring, and you can learn so much. Get your copy now at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. Let's discover our hidden heroes together.
All right, family. Black Power is the true power with General Sarah Sunseti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be a set member to not only the Sarah Sunseti YouTube page, but the General Seti YouTube page, two powerhouse institutions on YouTube giving you nothing but black power, black divinity. I want you to subscribe immediately. Do not hesitate. I want you to become a member. The link right down in the video description is in the chat. All you have to do is just click it. You get a video introduction, rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Sunseti, General Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. The General got a new website on Teachable, uploading a lot of dynamic curriculums, powerhouse programs, certificate courses. The first one up, 25 steps to the redemption of definitive black manhood just for the brothers. I want you to get over there, check out that powerful program. Also comes with the Brotherhood of Heru Roundtable live stream, where the brothers sit down once a week discussing very important, powerful information pertinent to our growth and development. There's nothing like it, family. Designed strictly from the general, so you already know it's off the chain. Get over there and check it out. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com online marketplace, official General Sarasu Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got something for your family. I know you're going to like and love. Check it out. Get a discount. Shop and save. Save and shop. Pour the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com, Seti University. We're talking about over 2,500 videos, 40 different subjects, all the subject that you know and love from the general. Ancient Egypt, the Olmec voyages of the Nile, all the religions, occult, the holidays, Black Woman is God, Too Raw for YouTube. You already know what it is. Get over there and get that work. It'll blow the mind. And to all the family out there, know Seti got the pop in his page on Patreon by far, ain't even close. Get over there. We got that work. We're going to be going back and forth tonight from YouTube to Patreon. If you're ready to step up, tonight is the night. Link right there in the video, in the chat. Click it. Be in the house from row and center, because it's going to be all powerful. That's right. And to all the family out there, donate to the general. I thank you. I appreciate you. Those would like to donate. Link right there in the chat. Hey, appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid, because I will ban your ass. Well, family, it's official. The movie Sinners is out. It didn't blew up on the international theater scene. Hollywood is in shock, hating. You know they're gonna hate because Sinners done broke a record for April release. They had damn near 100 million globally. So most definitely we got a hit. You understand? Where really ain't nobody even going to the movie. Ain't shit out. Them motherfuckers don't even hit the movies like that, because they ain't putting no quality out there. They don't want to put black people would make that shit pop. So if they ain't got enough, movies out there catering to black people, that shit ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Entertainment, music evolve around black people. And so if anytime they do us a favor, but that just show you why we got to get our own shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to put our own movies out. We got to release our own movies. Wherever we got to release it, we need to start. And because at one point in time, we was producing movies. They done moved us all out of that genre. You know what I'm saying? We was making movies strictly for Black America. Now your shit come out on Tubi. No, we was going to the theater to see our movies. Now today, your shit come out on Tubi. They make you come out on Netflix or something like that. And that's okay. Netflix better than Tubi. That's a step up. But a lot of times we want to go to the movie, because when you go out to the movies, you feel what I'm saying? It's an event. It's an event. Motherfuckers sitting up, you can put shit out on Tubi, but that ain't an event. Back in the day when we was putting out Black Power, when we was putting out the Menace to Societies, the Boys in the Hood, Higher Learning, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Even though Spike Lee, when we was putting out things, Do the Right Thing, the Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, we was putting out a lot of our, we was putting out a lot of our heroes and sheroes, putting it in putting the right characters, putting the right actors and actresses in these movies to make it pop. you know, just ain't doing it like that no more. You know, it was too powerful. And so today, we got sinners out there, and the brother who I believe directed it, I don't know if he produced it too. I got to go back and check. But most definitely, he was saying that, man, this reignited his career. Yeah, because he didn't think it was gonna pop like that. Yeah, Black Power, you know, from Germany, Black Power. Yeah, so you know who made it pop like that? Black people. You went out there and saw it. Yeah, Cat Williams just bought land for a film studio. Okay, put it to work. I don't know about Cat though. I don't want to see no pimping shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see all that pimping shit. So if he gonna get in there, I don't trust goddamn Cat Williams to put out nothing. I don't want to see no big pimping and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some heroes and she-ros. But let's I think I got the trailer here. Let me see if I can. We back now. And I got a little short clip of Sinners, and hopefully that's not the right one. That's the that was the second one. Let me get it up.
Gift of making music so true.
Let me get it up here, y'all.
We've been gone a long time. We back now. You twins? Nah, we cousins. There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift.
Uh-oh, they got that hoodoo.
Somebody take me in your eyes.
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death. Listen here, this ain't no house party.
Got that hoodoo popping off.
Y'all ready to drink? Y'all ready to sweat till y'all stink? You want some? You keep dancing.
I'm in there with the devil. You know they gonna bring the devil with
boy. You gonna bite off more than you can chew.
One day he's gonna follow you home. You got us a problem, y'all.
What the hell going on? Oh, we heard tale of a party.
I'm up to end this. What's happening? In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to all our platforms. Follow our news on YouTube and Facebook. Revolutionaries and on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. We'll see y'all today or tomorrow, part 2. Peace.